Sorry, buddy. Hello.
They said Spider-Man remastered. Point.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I wasn't sure if you were going to start. Yes, we're live. Our mics are live now. So
That's yeah, nothing spicy here. They said Spider-Man remastered sold 1.5 million on PC, and Last of Us Part 1 just did 368,000 on PC.
that sounds about right.
That's because of the port quality. I mean, one came out
port quality
much newer.
and Spider-Man is more popular than The Last of Us. Just period.
Yeah. Last of Us got
You want to get killed in the streets? What
yeah,
are
but
you
even
doing?
like on like the PS, like Last of Us Part 2 did what, 10 million, and Spider-Man 1 alone did like almost 20 million.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Spider-Man is more
I guess
like
that's
for the
about
normies,
right.
too.
Where's that? We got to remember to ask. Was it 1UP versus CPU for that Super Metroid? Are you here? 1UP versus CPU? Can I ask him now? Are you here?
You can ask him, sure.
All right, 1UP versus CPU. Can you make a Super
that's a little bit
Metroid
delay.
overlay?
I gotta get him. Backlar owes him
Also,
an
you
email.
have the
I gotta
game
get
as-
him an email.
This is the Game as the Sides overlay you have on right now.
You want me to change it?
Thank you.
I can change it.
No. Because then. Oh. Mike's upset because he said some funny stuff and you guys didn't hear it. They still can't hear you. All right, hang on. Now they can hear you.
All right.
Now say it, Jeff.
Sorry.
Jeff dying. That's the funny joke.
Wouldn't it be funny if Jeff died? You shouldn't talk about that.
And
Okay.
then I say he died doing what he loved, podcasting.
I don't know why, but I always imagine that's going to involve a bar of soap somehow.
I mean, listen. Yeah, you're right. Okay, that's good, and then that's good, and then I need the music there, so let's make sure that is good.
Yeah.
Of course, everything resets because fucking Windows hates me. Okay, now they can hear that.
I
That's
mean,
really
don't fuck
loud.
Windows, so.
Okay,
The new season's pretty good.
Sorry.
Destiny is pretty good.
so everybody took us
Yo.
a second to get it set up. My wife's out of town, so I'm just kind of completely spent mentally.
My wife.
Are the kiddies in sleepy times? You think they're?
Are you doing local recording?
Emmy's up in her room.
Somewhere.
I'm not recording. I start the local recording run on time, but I always do it. Addie's over there. She's pretending to sleep at the very least. Okay.
That thing's fun.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, eventually you fake it till you make it, right?
Oh, that's been my motto.
All right, let me adjust Mikey Minotti up a little bit.
Do it.
Baby. Excuse me? All right. There we go. All right. I think we're ready. Mike, are you good? Actually, let me... let's sound. Hang on.
Hey, is 1UP versus CPU here yet?
Is this how you
How
communicate
can you
with
just
people?
summon him?
You
I
can
know.
DM him.
Bring me the 1UP versus CPU! Guards, seize him!
Seize him.
Mikey Caesar demands! All right, let's turn that off.
I hear no music.
That is going through the wrong
Smooth.
thing.
I don't know
Oh
whether
my
people
god,
live with, like,
everything reset. Not even a week of the settings just being consistent. All right.
How does everybody? Why do you people live with such smooth skin and not having hair everywhere?
I'm like a dolphin. And it's nice.
Go on.
I just kind of I'm smooth all over. Pretty great.
I don't know.
Very
I don't
aerodynamic.
believe that.
I was
I
wondering
heard that for a
if-
second. No.
It's all in my head. It's all in my head,
Just
mostly.
smooth.
When I say that, people are like, well, just get shaved. Oh, okay, yeah, I'll just add another like expense and chore to do
You
once a
had
week
to
for the
have
rest of my
hair
life.
in your
Yeah.
ass. There's no way you don't have hair in your ass.
Well, of course I got a
Okay.
hairy butt crack. All right, you ready to start the show?
No, not anymore, but I guess we'll do it anyways.
Hey, someone tell me why the virtual camera button won't show up on OBS anymore. All right, here we go. In 5, 4, 3.
Hey, you guys hear me? Start
Hang
cheering
on,
now.
it's doubling up. Hang on.
I don't hear it either.
Oh, you don't hear it? Okay, great show. We got a good show here.
You
We
motherfucker.
are on top of it.
Let's start the recording.
All right, where's this going? This is going through the chat mic, so you're probably getting it there. And oh my god, oh god, I'm so mad.
Come back,
I'm
Sean.
so
We need you.
I'm so mad.
we're-
Everything.
Don't worry, it's okay.
It's a week.
It's fine.
Oh, I'm
it's fine.
so mad. Okay.
So I'm so flushed about other things. I'm not even going to talk to you about
You
Resident
guys
Evil 4
hear
today.
me?
That's a lie. It's
Start
gonna be
What?
cheering
People
okay.
love it.
Hey, you guys hear me? Start
Yeah,
cheering
yeah.
Hadn't you
now.
entertained?
Okay. I think that's working. You guys, it's not doubling up for you anymore, chat, right? It shouldn't be. If it is, oh well.
We don't hear it, by the way, here on
You guys still don't hear it? Oh,
No.
that's because I turned it off instead of on. What am I doing? There we go. Now you should get it.
Hey, you guys hear me?
Now?
Start
There it is.
cheering
There we go.
now.
Okay.
right,
In
good.
5, 4, 3.
Hey, you guys hear me? Start cheering now. Yeah, let's get this over with. Yeah.
Woof woof. Hi, I'm Mike Minotti, and I am a Nintendog.
Hi, I'm Jeff Grubb, and I am a Nintendog.
We are the last of the Nintendogs. Today, Tears of the Kingdom is still pretty good. Are the days of Final Fantasy's numbers numbered? And yeah, you like that?
That's stupid as hell. I love it.
Yeah, that's good. I was proud of that. And there will be other things. Jeff,
Sure. It'll be a podcast in some form. Who knows?
I had so much pinned on figuring out Final Fantasy's
Right,
numbers.
I don't blame you.
number that-
I would have given up after that too. I'd be like, all right, I'm done for the day. I'm clocking
Yeah,
out.
all right. That's good. What else can the people want from me
Right.
now?
They're gonna be. There's gonna be so much uproarious laughter. They're not gonna hear what you say next anyhow. So
Exactly. Who cares?
I'm doing good. I am very busy. I got
Come
a
on.
lot of SGF planning still.
Yes.
Started putting names into time slots for the couch, and it's been a lot of work because it's like, oh man, is this gonna? People said they could be there that night. Are they gonna guarantee me? I guess mostly we're gonna play it by ear, but that's we're figuring that out, and that's fun. At the same time, my wife's out of town, and I've had the kids, and it's like working and then driving them around like back in the old days, like when I worked at GameSpeed. It is a lot. So I am completely mentally fried. I am just done. But at least you're tip top though, right? Like you're gonna be able to
No.
handle the show. I'm gonna like lay back. You're gonna
Absolutely
handle
not.
everything. Oh no.
No.
Oh
I'm
no.
very exhausted and stressed. We have our event going on. It's so I'm trying to cover a lot of bases there and there's other things and trying to make sure everything is going okay on this end while everyone else is physically at the event and it's a lot. And also just, the SGF planning is a lot. There's a lot of things to go to, a lot beyond. If it was just Summer Game Fest, it'd be easy. It's just like mini E3 making appointments, but there's a bunch of other things happening.
It's actually a little bit frustrating because the SGF proper, it's a smaller venue, and so they are limiting participants. So it's like if everything there is convenient, but then there's only so many people that I can actually like schedule things for, and I'm scheduling everybody's appointments. So it's like when there's something outside of SGF, it's like, oh well, I could send the people who can't get into SGF to that instead. But now it's like that adds another layer of complexity of figuring out more schedules.
Yeah.
So it's a lot. I am not a natural like scheduler and all that stuff, but at the very least, I'm enjoying it because it's also all stuff I want to do, and it's cool to kind of get things back to being like E3 at least a little bit. This is not going to be an actual E3 replacement, is what I keep realizing, because it's as I am like, oh, who's going to be there? Yeah, a lot of people are going to be there, but there's a lot of people who are just like, no, I'm good. I'm not going to actually come to this thing. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Why would you come there for this thing?
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, there's still a lot of people I'm looking forward to seeing, and I'm happy about that. But I'm gonna be happy when, like, I'm either on the plane going there and everything's kind of happening, or just on the other side of it. Um, and I'm kind of the same thing as you know. Yeah, I'm like, how are we the ones that are responsible now, Jeff? We used to just be the little assholes doing the podcast that nobody realized was happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Simpler
We were
times.
hidden away in our little corner, and no one ever paid us any mind. Now it's like we got so much going on.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, again, I'm enjoying it because it's stuff I want to do.
Yep, absolutely. Hey, everybody, thank you so much if you are watching live. If you're listening not so live or watching not so live, thank you. But for those
Or
who
if you're
are live
watching
with us-
dead,
if you're watching, what?
you said
Oh,
instead of
wow.
live. Yeah,
That's what you come at me with. That's great.
told you, brain fried.
Yeah, this is gonna be a rough one, guys.
Yep.
It's gonna be a rough one. Hit that thumbs up button if you can, everybody. That would appreciate it. Helps more people find the show. If you are watching live, you can send in a super chat with a question or comment. We've got a few of those already. Thank you all so much. We will read those during the air. We're gonna have a question segment from our podcast producers later, but you can ask a question with a super chat. Works just as well. All right,
Yeah,
Jeff,
we got a
let's,
few in so far. We'll answer all those before the end of the show, everybody.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I want to start here actually with some Tears of the Kingdom stuff because the producer Anuma did an interview at Washington Post with our friend Gene Park. Some interesting nuggets there. One of the more interesting ones was that Tears of the Kingdom was pretty much complete in March 2022 when that delay was announced. So you kind of had a whole year of polishing going on there. That makes sense playing this game. Performance issues are performance issues, and a lot of that is just, hey, this is still the Switch. But in terms of, like bugs and things working, like it's almost insane how smooth all that is, especially of how complex these systems are. Like, I don't know if I have actually yet seen a bug. I know there's some kind of item duplication glitch or something that people are using. I don't know much about that. But just in terms of like playing the game regularly, everything just kind of works as intended, and that's pretty shocking.
Yeah, I've been in a lot of bugs that are like soft locks where I can't progress, but then I realize, oh wait, I just didn't remember that I had all these things, and of course I'm not soft locked. I'm just an idiot, and I could just ascend out of here or reverse time. And it's like I definitely thought well, I found my first bug in Tears of the Kingdom. I'm stuck in here, and it's like, nope, you're just really, really dumb. You're right. It's amazing, and it feels that way when you're playing it. Even the performance issues, you could tell that they got it almost as good as they possibly could on this hardware, while also enabling all the things that are possible in there. Ultra Hand has so much going on. There's so much calculation of these extra physics objects, but they're going to let you do it, and they're going to make sure it's like, okay, yeah, it's going to dip. It's going to dip, but, it probably used to be 5 frames per second the entire time you were using Ultra Hand, and now they got it to a point where, yeah, it dips sometimes, and it's annoying, but it's still totally playable. So, I wish every developer had this. You know that Nintendo can afford it because Tears of the Kingdom is going to sell. Nintendo cares about this stuff so much that it's worth it to them. Everyone else, Jedi Survivor just came out. It's a game you're like, that they could do that for that. EA is just not in that same sort of business as Nintendo. And it's if they were to delay that game for a year to make sure it was just as polished as Tears of the Kingdom, that completely reverses the math on doing a game like that. So it stinks. It's not really an excuse. It's like you still got to figure something out there. But boy, I'm glad they did that for Tears of the Kingdom. It is just nice to see a company care that much about a game coming out and being as good as it possibly can, and it shows in the final product.
Yeah, I almost wonder if it's going to be this problem where, like, games that know, and it's very few games that know they can sell more than 20, 30 million copies, basically just your Zeldas and your Rockstar games. Like, they're able to do ridiculous things in terms of how much time they can spend really polishing things. I know for some people, that can almost be abrasive. Like maybe a Red Redemption 2 is too polished for some people.
Right. Don't polish off all the fun. Don't polish out all the rough edges that are actually like playful edges. But that's totally not what they were going for. They knew exactly what they were trying to produce.
No, that's exactly right. Man, I'm still enjoying Tears of the Kingdom a lot. Jeff, I'm actually liking it more and more.
Same.
As I continue to play it. I think both of us have now done our second temple, and I think we both did the Fire Temple. And yes, we're going to be talking, there weren't many spoilers last time. I know everyone has a different definition of what that means. This time, as you can imagine, maybe slightly more on that.
Why don't we define it? Like, do you want to talk up through the first temple, the first two temples?
What is it? Because I guess everyone's not doing
You
the
could
same.
do it in different orders, but boy, you're a maniac if you go to anything other than the one everyone goes to, because it's really hard if you go to the wrong place first.
Yeah, I agree with that. Why don't we just, why don't we just do what we normally do? Why don't we just talk about what we've been playing at the end of the show, so people are just skeptical? Then
that works for me.
They can worry about it at that. Yep. But just generally speaking, I'm really enjoying it. I think I think now I can pretty confidently say, yeah, I do like this even more than Breath of the Wild, actually.
Yeah, we'll still kind of talk probably through the first two temples, everybody. So, and that means the one in the northwest and the northeast.
Yes.
And then beyond that, we probably won't have much to say. But anything, but this is an open game. You can do a lot of stuff. So, kind of use your own discretion. You've been warned.
Speaking of people saying things in interviews, Yoshi P, Mr. Final Fantasy 14/Final Fantasy 16 is talking to a GQ UK. GQ, just doing all kinds of wacky video game things these days. What is going on there? Yoshi P is talking about how maybe it's time for Final Fantasy to get rid of the numbers. Kind of just talking about how maybe it's confusing. Maybe people aren't sure if they have to go play all of these.
It's confusing to that mythical grandma buying a game for her son that we always talk about. That thing that I'm not actually sure exists anymore. I mean, of course it exists, but like the idea of that is something that we should actually be worried about, because stores have return policies. If it's the wrong game, someone can just return it. I just everyone else gets it, I think. And you were in chat today saying it makes it feel important. It absolutely does. It makes them seem confident in what they have.
Yeah, it seems like one of those things where maybe you're sitting around thinking about it too much and imagining problems. I mean, as an example, he says, we have Final Fantasy 14, but what if that seems like the old Final Fantasy? People don't understand that it's still this thing going on. But Final Fantasy 14 got at its biggest well after Final Fantasy 15 came out anyways.
Yep.
So
that's a really good point.
Right? That just actually didn't happen. Like, we have the numbers for that. Like, again, it's like one of those things where you think about it logically, you can kind of understand the logic of what he's saying. And look, maybe I'm just an old fuddy-duddy. I like my numbers. I like the fact that we have this one series. Everybody else, right? Like they got rid of numbers after 3 or maybe 4. I think Assassin's Creed made it to 4 and they're done with it. I like having this one series that is just like, even when we make an MMO, we're still going to use a number.
For Final Fantasy, it's super useful, right? Because they're not trying to be the same universe. And if they are trying to be the same universe, it's under the number. And it's like,
because you have a main line, literally a main line, Sean, of the number ones.
Oh, no.
And then you
what
make
is happening?
A new line when there's a sequel.
Oh, God.
So,
all right, I'm ducking. I'm getting out of here.
That's literally what main line means. Yes. But no, that's exactly right. I just like having the numbers. Plus, it makes, if everything just starts having a subtitle, then it's like, well, how do you really differentiate between a Strangers of Paradise, which is this offshoot thing, which is going to be Yoshi P in that same interview, or at least another interview during this latest media blitz, someone asked him, hey, what makes a Final Fantasy? It basically said, basically incredible production values, and then you have Chocobos and Moogles. It's basically what he said.
That sounds good to me. He didn't say Sid. Yeah. That's pretty fucked up to Sid.
You gotta have this, poor Sid. But I got a lot of these spinoffs don't have big production values, like Strangers of Paradise. Pretty ugly game. Right?
Oh yeah. I mean, yes, I think so. Like, it's for one of those character action games, even it's not the best looking one of those. But yeah, I mean, I think you don't want a new mainline Final Fantasy game to get confused for a Strangers of Paradise. And I think that is more likely to happen if you drop the numbers. And I think if you say this is the next numbered Final Fantasy, that is a statement. It says that you are probably putting a lot of time and money and effort into it. And that's how he defines it. And I believe you, because it has 16 in it. Like, that's why I believe him.
Speaking of like numbers, I'm thinking about, wow, like what's gonna be like, we're like Final Fantasy 25. Someone's like, it's gonna be silly when there's Final Fantasy 25. And I was like, I almost tweeted, then I deleted it because people are gonna take me too seriously. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna be dead by then anyways. And I'm like, at that point,
that's
now, like,
future people's problem.
how many more like Zelda, right? Like now a Zelda game comes out once every 7 years. I'm like, how many more mainline Zeldas are
Jesus.
actually coming out before I die? Like,
Yeah, I used to be like, oh man, the GameCube's gonna come out after I graduate high school. That's messed up. And now it's like that one's gonna come out after I'm dead. I'm gonna be gone from this earth.
I'll just be
I won't get to play that at all.
Yeah,
This is what you come to this podcast for, everybody. Just grim recognition of linear time coming for us all.
you know, it's all right. It's comforting to know that important series like Final Fantasy, The Legend of Zelda, and some, I don't know, will live on past us, maybe. Or maybe people will stop caring in like 2 generations. Everyone will think that shit sucks. All right, Jeff. Hey, that Overwatch 2 thing, remember that? Remember that last week we talked about?
No, I don't know her.
You don't know her? Yeah, everyone. But by the way, when I was already talking about how like work is stressing me out this week, this entire time I'm talking to you, I'm hearing my stupid, like, I'm going to close it now. My stupid work messenger go, I'm like, it's 9:30 for me. Please leave me alone.
Oh no.
I'm gonna lose it.
So a good week, huh?
Overwatch. Yeah, speaking of people having a bad week, Overwatch 2 team, the director Aaron Keller, some of the other people have been trying to sort of talk more about this decision to get rid of their main PvE mode, the one that was talked about as basically the impetus for Overwatch 2 when it was debuted at BlizzCon 2019. It's pretty interesting, Jeff, just the way he's talking about it and the way he's kind of framing Project Titan around all of it, which, for those who don't know, Project Titan was basically like a lot of the World of Warcraft people pretty shortly after World of Warcraft became a hit, splitting off to develop the next World of Warcraft in terms of a big online game. And what they were working on was an MMO shooter.
Right.
And it just wasn't working. They couldn't get it figured out. So what it looked like to us was, they turned it into Overwatch. And Aaron was kind of recontextualizing that as we scaled it down to release this like multiplayer shooter mode with the intention of eventually building that back into Project Titan, and then kind of getting caught off guard that, this game, just the way it is the most popular thing in the world and winning Game of the Year and stuff like that. And he kind of contextualizes it as maybe we messed up by not focusing as much on just what Overwatch already was as we can, because almost immediately right then they started working on this co-op mode. They had a crawl, walk, run strategy where crawl was like Overwatch, that PvP mode, 6 versus 6, what we got. Then walk was going to be the PvE stuff, the stuff that we're supposed to get with Overwatch 2. And then run was going to be Project Titan in its original vision as this MMO thing, right?
Yeah.
And then the realization is kind of just, Overwatch is popular to give people enough content that they actually are going to come back to it. And we see what happens with games that even when they come out strong to start, don't get enough content, like a Halo Infinite. People will just leave, and that whole game gets painted as a disaster now. So basically that's what's happening. It's just, turns out they don't have the resources to actually do both. Supporting Overwatch as a PvP game and creating this secondary PvE game on top of it. And yet, even like understanding all that, Jeff, I still am just kind of upset and baffled about this whole thing.
I mean, because the reality is the reason that this happens is because mistakes were made. The place became a really toxic, or a visibly toxic place to work. They aren't creating policies that's going to make it easier to attract talent, like demanding people work in the office. Like, there are tangible, demonstrable reasons for why they don't have the resources. This is a company that should have all the resources in the world.
It's the company with the parent company that moves mountains to release a Call of Duty every year, right?
Every year. And
thousands
has
of people
done so
working on it.
for 2 decades. So clearly there are priorities, and the resources are getting sucked into that for obvious reasons. It makes a lot of money. It's the bet, and they think that's a pathway to growth. And Blizzard, meanwhile, is listless because they've lost a lot of talent, and they don't have the possibility to replace it. So when they scoped out what they were doing here, I bet it was possible, and I bet they did have the resources, and I bet it was going to happen. And then suddenly things started going sideways on them. The world changed, and now it's not happening. And all of the reasons that they're saying it's not happening are true and fair to a certain extent. Doesn't make it better, because it still is kind of all those things are just kind of like, yeah, we could be making other choices as a company that maybe could have addressed some of this, and we could have done this, but that's not, we don't want to do that. So instead we have to just cancel this version of this game that we promised several years ago.
Right. And it's like, I'm wondering what the lessons we should take away from this is. I think a big one is, and this is a cliche, but under promise and over deliver, right? Like Blizzard is so bad at doing the exact opposite of that for so long.
Oh, yeah.
Literally framing the entire launch of Overwatch 2, the entire reason for Overwatch 2 existing around a mode that they ultimately aren't even going to ship. And you think about, again, like a Halo Infinite, you literally calling it Halo Infinite. Like, what are you doing, right?
Yep.
Compared to Tears of the Kingdom, and, Tears of the Kingdom, they almost kind of the opposite problem where they weren't saying anything. And another thing Numa kind of said, I think, in that Washington Post interview was how after like that one of the kind of like the second
February.
trailer, yeah, and like we talked about this on this show at the time. Like nobody seemed excited after that one. Like everyone was just kind of like, okay.
They were correct.
Like,
they were correct that
yeah.
people did not seem as excited. Yes, absolutely.
So they kind of had to like, they just got a new in front of a camera with a controller. And they're like, hey, okay, here are actually mechanics and stuff. And that was when people were finally getting interested. And I wonder if there's a similar decision made at that point. Like, hey, we need to cut a trailer that's basically just exactly the same as that trailer for Breath of the Wild that everybody liked. And
yeah,
again,
they definitely seem to intimate that the Anuma 10-minute gameplay direct thing was a reaction to the lack of excitement. I wonder if the exciting trailer after that, it was also part of that. I mean, whatever. Either way, it was a good decision because there was a palpable change in excitement going from that February debut into the gameplay and then into that final cinematic trailer. So whatever, they responded correctly and it really worked.
I wonder if maybe another lesson here is like just going back to Project Titan, right? Where you had this giant mess of a game. And first off, they took a lot of their aces off of World of Warcraft when that game was still like a big deal.
Yeah.
And maybe they thought it was going to die way sooner than it did. So why are you taking these, why are you taking a Jeff Kaplan off World of Warcraft and some of these other people to do Project Titan? But then, so it doesn't work out. Instead, you just kind of take a nugget of it and release that. Basically, as this compromise, I was almost a defeat, it sounds like. And then, they kind of have to psych themselves up. Well, it's okay. We can eventually make this Project Titan again.
Yeah.
But no, actually, what you did was this great thing. And people like that. And like maybe more people should look at their giant plans and find like one or two things and pull that out and make that the game.
Yeah, that's
what I know.
We always see that.
Saying that as we're praising Tears of the Kingdom, which is like this obviously this giant huge thing.
Yeah, but I mean they started. Well, let's think about it. They started with Breath of the Wild, and that was as all encompassing as Breath of the Wild feels compared to Tears of the Kingdom. It's very focused. It is very much like let's do a few things really well, and those things are. They have a breadth to them. They are massive, but
of the wild to them.
They have a breadth of the wild to them, yes. But they are a handful of things, and we're going to do those things super well. And anytime you sort of niche down, people always see benefits of that. That like you actually usually almost grow by focusing more and more. And I think that you're right. That was clearly something that they were afraid. But it's Blizzard, and if there's a developer out there that can pull off big ideas, it's Blizzard, or at least. That's what it used to be, and it's just not that anymore.
I wonder at what point the well gets too sour over on the Overwatch community. And like the Overwatch community has been unhappy before. They were really unhappy when Overwatch 1 was basically abandoned for a couple of years while we waited for Overwatch 2, which again, like people were getting excited largely because of a PvP mode that we're not getting, PvE mode, excuse me. It's weird because we've seen other Blizzard games have really, really low points like World of Warcraft, and somehow they are able to bounce back from that. Even the Diablo franchise with Diablo Immortal's announcement, even more so than the launch of that game, which also didn't go well. But the announcement of Diablo Immortal was the low point for that franchise, and it seems like they're doing fine, and that Diablo 4 is likely going to be a hit. There's some kind of immunity there in terms of the long-term damage that maybe we're seeing, again, a Halo suffering from right now.
Yeah, I don't know. This feels like, boy, this better be the low point for Overwatch 2, but I suppose the low point is going to come in a couple of months when all of the talk around why and the sort of ringing of like, you're grabbing your hair and kind of getting frustrated with it it's probably going to get worse when people are just not playing it and it's this bad memory at a certain point. And it's like, that's going to happen here in the next couple of months. And then can it pull out from that? Maybe. But it definitely seems like it's at a low point right now and could only go lower. Because who's going to feel good about playing Overwatch 2 and for the next few months? It's just weird.
Yeah, it's like you even say Overwatch 2, and I'm like, how about Overwatch U?
Okay, all right. Listen, we had the start of the show. We can't keep going down this road.
I'm a clever boy,
Yeah.
so all right, we'll see what goes on with Overwatch 2 in the future. I just know I personally need more new heroes and more new maps to get excited about Overwatch again.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Jeff, that's it for kind of our big topics here. Do we want to do some super chats now? I think I actually missed a couple, by the way, from Jim Ryan on Game Master Sides. I don't know if you can pull those out.
Yeah.
Since you're pulling things out.
Oh my god, I knew we were gonna fixate on that, and we were right to, of course. Yeah, let me track those down. I forgot because I was getting the show set up. We'll do that right after this break. Okay, let me go those. I got everyone else's super chats right here, but there were some from last week. So let me go to stream elements. What the hell was that?
Sorry.
Oh, is that you?
That was for
Okay.
me.
All right, cool.
I'm
where is
gonna
this
see
stuff?
that on the wavelength now.
Oh, that's cool. That's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Should have done a tiny fart instead.
Beautiful.
I'm gonna see that on the wavelength too.
Okay. Man, there's a lot of. I was like looking through here. I'm like, wait, that's my face, and that's Anthony Gallegos' Discord, and it's Stinky Dinky. You guys ready to hear what is associated with my face over there?
Yes. Got him.
Hell yeah!
Beautiful.
Oh no, what's he yelling? Hey, Mike.
Hi, doggy. Hi, doggy.
He just says stinky dinky.
Yeah, I understand that. That's fair. Okay, stream elements.
Yeah, well, I fucked your mom.
Thank you, Pass Mike.
All right, accept. Live streamers, can you just let me log in? There we go. One Stinky Dinky. Okay, let's.
Two stinky dinkies.
3 days, 4 days. How long ago did we do a
5 days. 5 days.
beef hammer, John Cody?
Hey, is one person CPU here?
I told you DM him. It's way easier.
Why? This is easier.
He's gonna
All right.
listen to this later and
How?
be like, Mike, what the hell?
Oh wait,
do
that's
you
last.
want?"
That's today. I just scroll down and then it pause
It
feed.
starts with Mike Zors, and I don't know why. It doesn't even matter how hard I try. Keep that in mind. I designed this rhyme to explain in due time. All I know is that time is a valuable thing. Watch it fly by as the pendulum swings. Watch it count down to the end
All
of
right,
the
I got
day.
two
The
from
clock
Big
takes
Jimbo
life
Ryan.
away.
All right.
It's so unreal. You didn't look out below. Watch the time go right out the window. You try to hold on. You didn't even know. Wasted it all just to watch you go.
Sounds just like Mike Shinoda. Very good. Very good.
God will pay for his crimes.
What the hell?
I'm scared.
Okay.
I'm scared. Stop doing that. You're gonna hit something that's some weird server, and we're gonna get all canceled.
Thanks, Rick.
All right. Let's get back into it. All right. There's
God, I miss Price is Right. I would watch like Price is Right marathon. Imagine how sweet
you.
that would
You
be.
work at home during the day. You could just put that on.
Man, you're right.
And
Sounds weird.
You get us in trouble. Hey, baby, did mama hang up? Did mama hang up? You gotta go to sleep now. Okay. All right, baby. Okay. Mike, bring us back in whenever you're ready.
Stop doing that, Christian.
No, he's
Yeah.
marking it for the edit.
I need it.
Oh, find a maybe less harsh noise. I guess it has to be harsh. That's how you mark it. How's that?
It's a stab noise. There you go.
Thank you.
Okay, Mike, bring us back in whenever you're ready.
And we are back. All right, Your Majesty, are you ready for the super chats now? Hi, Addie.
I am ready. Thank you so much, my loyal subject. From Big Jimbo Ryan, 5 days ago, because we forgot to do these last week. Let's start with this one. 2-season show based on The Last Guardian, billions of dollars, multiple episodes of getting the chicken dog to help solve puzzles as it sabotages the kid. Man, Jimbo Ryan's full of ideas.
Was The Last Guardian actually on that GQ list? Somebody tell me that.
No, I think you saw that and we're like,
I'm gonna check.
that means it
again.
has to be in people's top 10s when they submitted
I
that.
don't actually believe that. I think somebody told me that and they were missed. Oh my god, it is. It's on. How is that 88? I don't believe that. That is 88 on the GQ list. There is actually no way. I never heard anybody in my life ever tell me that is one of their top 10 favorite video games of all time.
Well, guess what? Because you just said that, you have just entered a world where people are going to tweet that to you pretty much nonstop for the rest of the week.
Great.
Rest of the
I was, look, once again, with like these Battlefront 2 weirdos, I was there. No one cared. Like everyone gave it like an 85 and then never talked about it again. I'm not saying it's a bad game. Of course not. 88 best game of all time in a list with no Mega Man games at all. We have to make sure we get like every single one of the Ecos and Tricos and Duocos. Give me a freaking break. Like trust me, it's enough to get Shadow of the Colossus up there. We're good. The Last Guardian, go give me a freaking break. What's right below The Last Guardian? What's right below Hitman World of Assassination, Jeff? One worse than The Last Guardian. Eat that shit.
I mean, it's just a list.
No, get back like me. It's more fun. It's more highs, Chef. More lows. All right, you piece of shit. Why don't you like Resident Evil 4? Why do you personally attack me like this? You thought I wouldn't hear what you said on Gay Best Mornings? I'm good, actually. You're going to be like, I didn't say it's bad. I just said I played it a little bit of it, and I'm good. When you say I'm good, you're implying that you would be worse if you had more of the thing. It's like someone's like, do you want some caviar? Nah, I'm good. That doesn't mean you like caviar. That means you're good without it.
listen, I wouldn't be worse with more. I just have limited time and I get it. I get what it's going for. Okay.
So
I want to play more. I do want to play more.
I have one question.
Okay.
Were you playing it on your Steam Deck? You're playing it?
Mostly on my Steam Deck, yeah.
I know you love your Steam Deck.
I love my Steam
Great
Deck.
machine.
Yeah. It's a really good machine.
I think maybe this is a game that you should be playing on your brand new big boy PC with mouse and keyboards. I think you will be enjoying it more.
All right, I can do that. I'll do a stream of it because I've been meaning to stream again. So I'll play. I'll do a stream of it.
Watch that stream because if I like detect that you're like not enjoying it, like don't forget, I am definitely in the wrong here for the most part, and I understand that. I'm taking something personally about a video game I didn't make, but I told you how much I like this game. I really like this game, and it hurts me in our friendship for you to just not be near that same level of enthusiasm as me, Jeff.
You know what? I'll try to do better. I'm gonna try to do better, Mike.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah,
now get back to work and read some super chats.
Another one from Big Jimbo Ryan from 5 days ago. Also, Bend isn't working on a siphon filter game. It's a 3D Bubsy game meant to surpass Mario Odyssey. We got Pauly Shore to do voice it. Holiday 2023. Jim, don't you dare threaten me with a good time like that. That sounds like
good stuff.
That sounds like that good stuff. Pauly Shore doing the voice. Incredible. All right. Super chats from tonight. Let me get to these. All right. So let's start with it's Xcore who says, you're late. Okay. All right. We started a little bit late.
A minute late.
No, we were like almost 10 minutes late. At least 5 minutes late for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Because
It's your fault. I joined here at like 8:59. I was here.
Cool. Yes. Technically, you were on time. That's right. From Darachi, hot take: Zelda good. Yeah, I think I agree.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
That's kind of all I really have time for right now is Zelda. I did play. How long have you played?
Just 30 hours.
You've been playing Street Fighter as well, right? In the beta, right? You've been playing the Street Fighter beta as well.
yes, the beta.
I saw your face. Oh man. The beta.
Of course, the beta.
Everyone's playing the beta, just like Mikey. So I took some of your time, is what I was trying to say.
Yeah, exactly. I've been busy with that and freaking Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. Which I knew this would be an episode. I'm glad Addie's here.
Yeah, Addie, you're helping us out. Thank you so much.
Yes, watching us meltdown.
Question mark 1910 says it appears Square, Capcom, EA, and Sega could have a non-E3 show, but haven't said anything. Do you expect them to announce something, or will they scatter their announcements across the other events? I think it's going to be a combination of scattering things across events, showing up at SGF in some form, and having their own showcases here and there. I'm not expecting dedicated showcases from all four of these companies in like the next month or two. These are normal, innocent publishers, and they are
just innocent publishers.
They're just innocent publishers, and they'll kind of have a showcase when they have the games to showcase.
Yeah, I know at least Sega's been at SGF before because that's where they had Sonic Frontiers. So I wouldn't be shocked. You see, they said Mortal Kombat 11 is going to have its gameplay debut at Summer Game Fest.
Oh, did they confirm that? I didn't realize that.
So I'm guessing now I'm like, well, maybe it's not going to be at Sony.
No, I wouldn't expect it at that. Yeah, definitely not.
So there you go.
Yep. All right, let me see here. It's Xcord. Jeff is out here giving a preview of the Only Jans content. That's right. Look at the gun show. This is what you get if you subscribe to my Only Jans. From Derek Holden, tell me about the North Georgia Elvis, Jeff.
What?
I don't know. I don't know.
What's he talking about?
I don't know.
What's the North Georgia Elvis?
I'm gonna Google it, and I'm gonna tell my child to close her eyes because I'm afraid.
Yeah, what do you know about Georgia? Have you even ever been to Georgia?
I've been to Georgia to visit my brother on, I think Fort Bragg is in Georgia. Maybe not.
Okay.
Maybe I'm thinking of something else. I think I've been there once, briefly. I've been to Florida, a bunch of other surrounding states.
Somebody from. Oh yeah, that's right. I know George from Florida.
Yeah, George from Florida is a good friend of mine. He's the one that does the Poop City Slamma Jamma.
No, that's not him.
Oh no, that's right. That's you. My
don't
bad.
Be smirched. No, don't be smirched. George from Florida's name. George from Georgia would be a little too on the nose.
Derek Holden, if you have an explanation, let me know. Fort Bragg is in North Carolina. Thank you. I was a child. I don't really remember.
Close enough. Somewhere in the
south. And while we were there, we watched. This will date it for everybody. We watched a Double Dragon at the theater, and everyone in my family regretted it except for me and my little brother.
Hell yeah! Let's fucking go.
From Big Jimbo Ryan, it's Showcase Eve. Make sure to leave out apple juice and beans on toast. And I might listen to your wish list. Otherwise, you'll get 60 mid-game in your stocking. Did you get my super chat from Thursday? Yeah, Big Jimbo Ryan. We just read them. No problem.
Sorry about that, Jim.
And of course, I got my daughters working on the beans on toast right now, just for you.
That's right. Yeah, I told them that they have to make them extra watery beans to make sure Uncle Mikey gets his Ridge Racer.
Apple juice and beans on toast. I love you, Ryan.
I hate your culture.
From B. Traven, crazy how many reviewers are bending over backwards to praise Tears of the Kingdom. Garbage, 96 critic rating, and it doesn't even have armor degradation. 0 out of 5. That's a good point. We should get some armor degradation in there to really just
there we go.
Really just show these gamers who's boss once and for all. Very good
or
point.
Or at least release an armored edition like we got with Batman.
Yes, at very yes, for just exclusively for the Wii U. That's right. From TMC Callan. Hey, Beefy Boys. Have been enjoying Tears of the Kingdom a ton, but I still think Octopath 2 is my personal game of the year. Have either of you played? I have for 5 minutes.
I have not touched it. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me. I'm the one who's been playing the pixel remasters instead of Octopath Traveler 2.
They did a bad job of making Octopath Traveler 2 feel Jeff Bakalar important. They just farted it out in a way that is like, yeah, you don't have to play this. Yeah, we made it, but don't feel like you have to play it. It's like, what are you doing over there, Square Enix?
It sounds like, I forget, but I thought there was something like it didn't. Somebody was saying it didn't sell amazing or something.
I don't think like almost no one's talking about it. So that was our first super chat from TMC, by the way. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate that. L. Grubb, will Mike talk over Giant Bomb talking over the PlayStation Showcase tomorrow? And will TurboSean talk over Mike talking over Giant Bomb? I don't know. That's up to Mike and Sean.
Yeah, this one's like an hour long. No.
Yeah, that's fair. From Excised, thank you guys for all the content. I listened to you guys all week at work, breaking my back for the man. Lol, for real. Keep living the dream. P.S. Rito Village, still one of the best. Great quests again, too. I agree. I loved visiting that place.
Yeah, place rules. You get that awesome Wind Waker song from Dragon Roost Island. I think still probably my favorite moment the game revolved around there. So Great stuff.
Yep, definitely. From Green Thumbs, there should be a segment of the show called The Doghouse where Mike rants about something for a minute or two. Who's in the doghouse this week, etc. It's going to be me every week.
It's Jeff. It's
Yeah.
Jeff in the doghouse.
I'm always in the doghouse.
It's always Jeff. There's a fucking fly or mosquito.
While Mike has his mental state destroyed by a fly in his room.
Like that episode of Breaking Bad.
Exactly. The Uncharted Wolf. What's your Tim Geddes breaking laptop reveal? Do you know about this, Mike? Where there's a GIF of it. If there was a reveal, and I don't even remember what it was, but yeah, Tim got so excited he stood up, took off his hat, I think, and threw it at the table, and it knocked a drink over into a laptop, and it broke the laptop.
Because he was so excited, so it was good.
Yes.
I'm trying, man. Like
Ridge Racer.
The last time I had a reaction like that,
Joker and Smash. That sounds right. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, nice. If I had my laptop near me when they announced Mega Man for Smash 4, I would have broken it for sure. That's the most I almost fainted. I was so excited from an announcement ever. The big one is Ridge Racer, man. If Ridge Racer actually comes back, maybe if they did do a new Jumping Flash, because I actually don't expect it at all, I might really lose some shit if they're Jumping Flash. There's zero chance of that. I'd be really excited if they announced a new Astro, but it's yeah, you better announce a new Astro.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
I think for me it's a lot of those PlayStation 1 lost PlayStation IPs. That's what get me excited. Colony Wars, things like that.
Yeah, Jet Moto. I know you're a big Jet Moto marker, Jeff.
I just like making fun of Jet Moto because I'm it ain't no wave race, but Jet Moto's actually legit fun.
It is very fun. It's a different kind of a game, a bit more arcadey, of course. The waves aren't as good, for sure.
Right, non-existent to a certain extent. All right, I think, yes, we are all caught up in the Super Chats, Mike. Show's back to you.
All right, well, let's get over to our podcast producers. Let's see what questions they have for us. Jeff, those wonderful, wonderful people there. Let me get my glasses on so I can properly read my screen here. Scoopy Panoopy. That's a good name. Scoopy Panoopy says, Dear Jeff, Mr. Slurp Juice himself, Grubb, and Mike will definitely buy banana liquor shops for everyone at the GM meetup. Minotti. Fruit flavored liquor? Are you kidding me? They'll drink whiskey and they'll like it. What movies are in your collection? Only physical editions count here. Oh man, when I was going through the basement looking for some old games, I found my box with all my Blu-rays in it. So that was kind of fun. I wonder at what point I was just straight up, I'm not buying movies anymore. It's been a while. I haven't bought a physical movie. I have a nice box collection of all the all Miyazaki films over there. So that's nice. I have a lot. I had a lot of Disney movies and all the Pixar movies up to a point on Blu-ray and a lot of other BS. But I don't know. My physical movie collection is not something that is in my mind. It is mostly in a box in the basement.
Yeah, the question's what physical movies do you own? Because we got the minivan has a DVD player in it, and so
that Barbie movie.
So we have the Barbie movie. It got Paddington 2. We have several discs that have multiple episodes of the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, and the kids watch that pretty much on a loop in the van a lot. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we watch. There's Strawberry Shortcake, things like that.
Is that still a thing? Strawberry Shortcake?
Yes, there was an Amazon Prime series, or I guess it could have been a different, an older series that they brought back. But they, the stuff that I have in there, it's the Star Wars trilogy and Back to the Future, things like that. That I was maybe the kids will want to watch this one day. There's no chance that'll happen, but they're in there just in case.
Next one here is from Shoji Koto. It says, Hey there, Mike, Chip Shit Minotti and Jeff Dude Perfect Grubb. What is the most ridiculous contraption you've built in Tears of the Kingdom so far? I will say, Jeff, I'm more of a fan of under engineering than over engineering. I like just making what I need to make and kind of getting on with that. I did just come across this area where they they actually kind of showed me how I can use just one piece of wood and 3 fans to make a fan that actually kind of goes up and forward a bit. So that was good. You put some rockets on that. I did this whole section where basically I went insanely high. I think maybe as high as you can on the map. At one point, the last little bit, I had nothing up there, so I just had to make something with the capsule. So I tried to make enough fans that it would be a platform and then a hot air balloon and then like a fire emitter on top of that. It's nothing too crazy. Things that just basically, again, try to do the most with as little as I possibly can.
Yeah, I was definitely, that was my mindset, especially early on when I didn't have all the stuff as capsules and I don't have a lot of battery power, which I still only have the one battery because I haven't gone back to fill that
I
up.
have to do that. That's my next goal tonight.
Yeah, that was my goal. And then, of course, now my girls are like, oh, I want to play and beat up Link. Or actually, now they're having fun just running around. So I was like, okay, I'm back at Hyrule. I got to work. As soon as I pick it back up, I'll go ahead and get it. And, of course, they, like, wandered me off somewhere else. I'm, like, looking for an older save to see if I could get back there. But
oh, my God.
But, you know, I could just, of course, just, you know, a quick travel or whatever. But I'll go back there, and then I'm going to do that. And that's the next thing. And then I probably will start messing around a little bit more. I did post that that person that made basically just a tank, and it's completely armored to the point where the way to get inside of this tank that they made is they have to hold it up in the air and then do ascend into it. So they're completely covered on all sides. I'm like, that's just actually...
That's incredible.
That's incredible. It's so cool.
And,
yeah.
But like, I am mostly like good watching that stuff, right? Like I like seeing those clips. I don't need to make something like that myself per se.
I will probably make some pretty stupid stuff here pretty soon, but it's I really don't know. For the most part, it has been... You know, I'll put a bunch of wheels on a spring, and I really like using the stabilizers, so you don't have to be super precious about making sure that everything's balanced. It's like, no, I'll put the stabilizer on the top side, and it's going to face upwards, so I'm kind of good. And that's enabled me to do some stuff with, like, again, the minimal amount of parts, and it's been good. But, since I don't have enough battery power, it's kind of like, I'm not going to spend an hour and a half coming up with some idea and then be able to use it for 30 seconds. I'm going to wait until I have a little bit more. But once I do, my thing's muting itself again. I will experiment a little bit more.
I lost you. Tears of Your Mom. Leia Haley says, hello, Jeff, Little Spoon Grubb, and Mike, Big Spoon Minotti. Thank you for making me the Big Spoon.
Thank you for making me the Little Spoon.
Yeah. Backler also thought I was short. Man, everybody thinks I'm not that short. People can't be big spoons, of course. Y'all want to get married to each other. I mean, I'm officiating a wedding this week and I need to practice. Thanks. Oh, no, I don't want to marry Grubb. He's gross. I'm officiating a wedding later this year, though. How about that? So
I am
get
gross.
Some tips from you. Yeah, absolutely. You're disgusting.
Yeah.
Nobody wants... You're lucky. I don't know.
Hey, Addie, am I disgusting?
Yeah.
Am I disgusting? Yes. Is that funny to you? Yes.
Yeah, he's gross. He's stinky. Yeah, I know. But, yeah, let me know how that goes, Leah, because I got mine coming up here a few months. Tears of the Jedi says, what's up, Nintendogs? Also, good luck, Leah. Is it not possible that Metroid Prime 4 could be the holiday Switch game for 2023? Prime Remaster feels like a marketing beat for a new game coming in the next 8 to 12 months. It would certainly be the game that could close the next General Direct. I don't think Metroid Prime 4 would be cross-gen, because let's be honest, while a cross-gen Mario or Zelda game would move systems, Metroid game would not move anywhere close to the same number. Metroid Prime 4 is exactly in the spot of being big enough to headline the end of the year without being so big to matter to Nintendo's long-term plans for the future. So not a possibility we see Metroid Prime 4 this holiday. I mean, there's a possibility. I don't know if there's a great one, Jeff.
Yeah, I lean towards not this holiday, but it's probably early next year. That's still within the realm of possibility. I think it's because, we are getting pretty close to the next system, and it should launch before the next system. Maybe cross-gen still. And not because they think it'll move systems, just because that's going to be the position that this game is in.
Yeah.
Listen, I get the reasoning, but I just, people should not get their hopes up for Metroid Prime 4 this year. And the good news is I don't think many people are getting their hopes up for that.
No, and I don't know if I really buy that, like, Prime Remastered was like a marketing beat for the new game. I mean, they've already announced Metroid Prime 4. They could have talked about it while releasing Metroid Prime if they wanted to, and they haven't, so I wouldn't read too much into that. Velocity Prime says, hello to the dogs. Who's the hottest new character in Tears of the Kingdom? Rauru, Sonia, Pen, Miniru, or Taru? I'm a big Pen fan. I don't know if Pen's hot, though. Pen's got, like, Launchpad McQuack energy. I don't know. Is Launchpad McQuack hot?
Yeah, he's a himbo. He's definitely...
Ask Addie if Launchpad McQuack is cute.
Okay, let me Google here. Launchpad McQuack.
I'm disappointed that your daughter wouldn't know who Launchpad McQuack is offhand. That new show rules.
Is you've seen him before? Is he cute? Yeah, you think so? But is he a meep? No, because he has eyebrows, right? Yeah, okay. Yes, that's not a
He
meep.
has eyebrows. Is that the thing these days?
If he has eyebrows and a nose, it can't be a meep.
Who do you like? Raru, Sonya, Pen, Mineru, or Taru? To be clear, like I think Sonya is the hottest. I am a, look, I'm not saying I'm special or have unique tastes. I'll go with mommy Sonya.
I think Raru is incredibly hot and in an intimidating way, and it scares me.
It's got sharp teeth, though. I don't like sharp teeth. I just think that would hurt. Because I have plans for those teeth.
Yeah,
Sephiroth
apparently. What that
could the
mouth do,
next-
Raru, says Mike Minotti.
Sephiroth says, could the next Nintendo console go with Stadia-style cloud streaming only? If yes, do you think it'll be successful? I feel like the quality of internet access still isn't there yet. For something like Tears of the Kingdom, it wouldn't be nearly as enjoyable for me with higher input latency if streaming from cloud was the only way to play it. No, absolutely not. I mean, especially with like storage getting cheaper and cheaper, right? Like, why do you have to even do it? Why would you do streaming? And to be clear, if they did it, I think it would be a disaster. I think it would be a big problem for them.
Yeah, it's a bad idea. The kind of people that they're trying to appeal to would not like that, and so they're not going to do it. Yeah.
Dampio says, how likely is Nintendo to release Tears of the Kingdom with better performance for the next Switch? And do you think our saves will carry over? I mean, Jeff, I can't imagine it's going to actually, like, I don't, it can't be like what it was before where it's like, here's the definitive edition. It's just going to be you play the game in the new Switch and maybe there's something baked in where it runs better on there, right? Or is that too much to expect from a Nintendo? Do you think we have to buy the game again?
I don't think we're going to have to buy the game again. But I also don't think it's going to be just baked in improvements. I think they're going to have a patch of some sort. So how does Nintendo handle that? I think they will want people to just kind of feel a continuity, so they just release the patch for free. But I could see I could see them releasing it as like DLC or something in a weird way. But for the most part, I expect it to be pretty seamless. But I'm also completely willing to accept that Nintendo could disappoint me when it comes to those expectations.
Sure. The Demon King got bopped. Says, "Whoa, wow, spoilers! Woof woof, my dogs." When you guys beat a game, how often do you actually go back to do more content when you say you will? I decided to finally go ahead and beat Tears of the Kingdom after 80 hours, and I'm worried the urge to go back and explore is now lessened. Thanks and always. Have a great week. Yeah, I'm usually pretty bad about I beat a game, I'm not going back to it. Like even Breath of the Wild, like when I beat it, I loved it. I didn't go back to do the rest of the shrines. I didn't even go back when that DLC came out that everybody liked. And I kind of know I'll sort of be like that with Tears of the Kingdom, at least immediately, because again, I do want to play more of these pixel remasters. So, and there are certain things in my head I know I want to do before I beat the game, especially all like the newspaper quests, going to all those crop circle kind of things, and obviously doing like all the temples and whatnot. But after that, I don't know if I need to do everything like in the subterranean area. I don't know if I need to definitely not get every shrine. We'll see. How about you though? You I feel like you're better about this than I am.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I definitely check out DLC for games I truly love. Absolutely, I checked out the DLC for Breath of the Wild, but I don't think I beat it. Maybe one of the quests I did, but there was like multiple things. I will probably go back, but also my intentions with Tears of the Kingdom is put a ton of time in it right now. Oh my god, this mic is going to kill me. Doing so much that I feel like I tapped it out, and if I don't get back to it, well, I played it so much when it first came out that's fine.
Once again, yeah, the game has to be so like generationally exceptional for me to go back to after beating it, like Resident Evil 4, which I beat 4 times, Jeff, because I like it so much, and you think
you
so
beat it
little,
enough for the
opinion.
both of us. What do I have to play it for?
I can see a game of the year right now, and I was like, I think it should be this. And you're gonna be like, I didn't play enough of it.
I'm pretty sure you said you wouldn't talk to me about that unless I beat it. So if I don't want to deal with that, all I got to do is just not play it. Oh man, 4D chess over here. A pretty smart guy.
I hate you. Chuck1991 says, greetings, Jeff. Never forget Grubb and Mike Bomberman on a plane Minotti. Why is it that games journalists often dismiss the used game market entirely? I often hear you can sell it at GameStop for $4 line, despite there being plenty of local game stores that give a fair price for used games. Shout out to Game Trade in DePere, Wisconsin. Let's say Wisconsin. I hear this so often that I was legitimately surprised the first time Mike mentioned going to his local game store. I mean,
Oh,
I
are we dismissive of that? I've never said like you'll get your $4.
Well, he didn't say us. He said games journalist. But I don't know. I mean, look, I think a lot of people are just still skeptical about GameStop in general. You're right, though. There has been like a nice rise of more local chains popping off. I know we have the Exchange kind of over
in my area
where
in
you are.
Colorado. It was the exact opposite, where all the smaller stores closed the entire time I lived there.
Yeah.
For the 8 years I was there, they would. It was like, oh, there was a couple stores, and then by the time I left, there were 0 that weren't GameStop. So it's like, I think it's just not universal. I think most people's experience is GameStop. But of course, the second hand, you can still sell things like on Craigslist if you want and get a lot more money for it. So if you're willing to put in a little more effort, the physical game stuff is definitely completely a fair thing to do, and I get that.
Yeah, but I mean, I think just in general, why are people dismissive, don't talk about the stuff? I mean, a lot of people are just digital now. I mean, I used to be a really big like, oh, I'm going to trade in some games and get a new game and all this stuff. I haven't thought about trading in games in a long time. Daniel says, hello, Jeff. Shoujo Mom tweet liker. Don't know what that means. Grubb and Mike Ewok passing Minotti.
Listen, we don't have to fucking listen. Sometimes there's some good tweets on the internet.
I'm going to Google this and see what happens to me. Shoujo Mom. Oh, is this an Instagram lady? Instagrammer? Oh my God, that's a giant.
The Fifth Amendment
Bowser
protects
ass.
me from all of this. I do not have to answer your questions. I do not have to self-incriminate.
Yeah, I don't think those are real. If you had the Ultra Hand ability, how long do you think you could make it before committing a crime with it? I mean, what else could you do with? No, maybe I would just become real handy. Maybe I would just make a lot of sheds if I had Ultra Hand in real life.
Yeah, I would probably. I would build homes for the poor. There we go.
You're so altruistic.
Thank you. Yes, altruistic. Yeah, there we go.
There you go. Yeah. Well, as long as I build a home for them, now they're not homeless anymore. Problem solved. You did it. Wong Gift says, hey, Jeff Colombo, Grubb, and Mike, Mrs. Colombo Minotti. Damn it. Why is the Genesis so good? Sega Genesis, just a perfect thing. Maybe the best of all time. I signed up to the higher tier of Nintendo Online to play GBA and Nintendo 64 games, then immediately played 3 hours of Genesis games instead. Anyways, keep up the excellent work on your Nintendo podcast. So thank you, Wong. I gotta be honest. I think I've actually spent the most time out of all the NSO system libraries. I think I've spent the most time in Genesis. There are a lot of really cool Genesis games, and even though the Super Nintendo, it has more colors and some other stuff, that faster CPU in the Genesis, it almost seems to be making more of a difference as time goes on. Genesis games are aging really well in a lot of ways, just for how fast and how smooth they feel.
Yeah, I know. There's some fun games in Genesis.
Oh my God! This is your I'm good on Resident Evil 4 tone there. Oh my God!
There are some games on Genesis that I absolutely love. Absolutely.
Like Shinobi 3, which you didn't know about till I showed you. And
oh my God! I had played Shinobi 3 before. I just didn't
I discovered it for you. I'm a hero.
Thank you so much, hero.
But Jump Matt says, how do you think the next Switch will compare in performance to the Steam Deck? That's an interesting question. Do you think the next Switch will be as powerful as the Steam Deck, or less powerful, or more powerful, Jeff? We're going to do over-under. I know that this confuses you, but I want over-under on a Steam Deck for the next Switch.
No, it does confuse me. It confuses our audience, you're saying, right? Because yes.
Yeah, I know. I'm messing with you because I wanted to make you mad. The joke, Jeff. It was a bit.
I couldn't.
It was a work.
I got to be honest. Don't get it. So I'm going to say it's going to be over, but just slightly. And most of that will come from a lot of the extra software tech that NVIDIA throws in there. DLSS being a big thing there. But yes, over, because by the time it comes out, that will be about right. NVIDIA's mobile architecture can be very advanced. It just kind of comes down to what's the part that Nintendo's going to end up using, and then what are the features NVIDIA is going to be able to pack in there.
Chat of War says, hey, Instagrub and TikTok Kodo, are there any games you played where you just neglected the story and jumped into it for the gameplay? I think the Hitman games fit that description for me. I'm not sure. There's games where I definitely want to do that, and then when I start doing it, I kind of feel bummed out, or I feel like I'm doing something wrong, and I can't actually get into it for some reason. There's probably an example somewhere, but usually I'm trying to be a good boy and follow along with the story, or else I feel disconnected. I think Jeff's much better about this though.
Where it's would be better about jumping to a game where I don't pay attention to story. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it's, for me, for the most part, a story in games is like lyrics in jazz, where like, oh, okay, you're gonna do that. That's fine. Oh, this mic. I'm not against it, and you can do it if you want, but like, don't expect me to come here for the lyrics in a jazz, like in a piece of jazz. Like that's just not what I'm here for. But if it's good and it adds to it, I'll pay attention, and if it doesn't, I can ignore it, and it's not a problem at all. So I think the Hitman's a good point. I think that Hitman 2 actually had some fun storytelling that I really enjoyed. And so I kind of actually did end up getting into that story, but for 90% of the time I'm playing it, I'm not thinking about the story at all. I am making my own stories. This I think this is a point of contention for my Red Dead Redemption 2 take, where the people who disagree with me are like, no, I come here to have a story told to me, and I don't care about anything else. I just want to be doing the story that someone else has dictated for me, and I love that. And I'm like, oh, yeah, of course you exist. Of course there's people out there like that. That's actually probably most people. So when I say how I feel about that game, it's definitely coming from that perspective of if you're going to tell me a story and you're going to like expect me to sort of just be there to like turning on switches so you can tell the next part of the story for me, you got to have other stuff going on, because that's a very boring concept to me.
Screaming Man, it says, hello, Mike, Pura Simp, Minotti, and Jeff, Raru Simp, Grubb. That's accurate. If Zelda ever makes a Zelda expansion to any Super Nintendo World parks, how likely would the expansion have a Zelda-themed restaurant using Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom food? Without spoiling any new Tears of the Kingdom food, I'll list Breath of the Wild food and say likely menu items would be creamy heart soup, Goron spicy poultry curry, that sounds good, monster cake, and of course, dubious food, and simmering fruit to anger Mike. That would anger me. I will say that the one area of Islands of Adventure, the one park at Universal Orlando, where that I've said might be turned into a Zelda area, might be turned into. It has like probably the best Universal in theme park restaurant there, called Mythos, and it basically looks like you're inside of like a cave or a tree. It'd be incredibly easy to retheme it to something Zelda-y. So,
oh, that sounds cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's all these new theme park lands have to have some kind of a fast food or dine-in option. Universal usually much bigger fan of more of like fast food kind of a thing. So at their Harry Potter things, it's like you go to the Three Broomsticks or the Boar's Head or whatever that's called. Nintendo has the Toadstool Cafe. Then even over at Disney now, like the Star Wars area that they built, Galaxy's Edge, it's a fast food restaurant there called Docking Bay 7. And the Avatar area actually has a really cool fast food area too. So it kind of just goes with it. If they ever do make a Zelda area, a Zelda land, it will have some kind of a food thing, and I bet some of that stuff will show up.
You could just call it you could call it dubious, and I would be like, yeah, let's go. Let's eat.
Yeah,
let's eat a
they definitely
dubious.
have to have dubious food to be fun.
Yeah.
Beefhammer says, evening, Jeff, average Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5 fan Grubb, and Mike, average Sonic the Hedgehog 4 fan Minotti.
Wow.
Did Miyamoto destroy Ed Boon in a fighting game competition? That's the only reason I can think of for why Mortal Kombat 1 is getting a Switch port along with the next-gen consoles. I mean, 11 did go to Switch, and maybe it did okay there. It must have done okay enough if they're going to do this again. But, I mean, Warner Brothers in general, though, are still releasing games on Switch. It's just a policy there. I mean, Hogwarts Legacy is still coming out for Switch.
Yeah, I think Mortal Kombat 11 probably did well on Switch. I mean, Mortal Kombat 11 did well everywhere, so maybe it's like, maybe at a certain point they're just like, yeah, let's just go for it because it's worth it. It's worth the. Oh my god, this microphone!
You're good at catching it real fast, at least.
Yeah, well, because I have the monitor. If I didn't have the monitor, I would just be going on and on and on, and you would be like, oh my god, we can't hear you. It's definitely something I think where. Just worth the investment to them. So I think, yeah, that explains it.
Kira Bear says, hi, Jeff. Starfield's a 7.5 Grubb, and Mike assigned to give it an 8 Minotti. Do you think having a favored genre affects how you assess games outside of that genre? For instance, fighting game perverts just love trying to sneak deviant terminology like a quick Roman cancel into discussion of games from outside their grotty bubble. That's interesting. It's hard for me to say. I also have such a broad view generally, Jeff, I like a lot of different kinds of games, but I like JRPGs a lot, and those could be kind of like very specific. And I don't necessarily bring any of that business in with me to a fighting game, right? So I'm not sure. What do you think? Can't hear anything? Completely dead? All right. Jeff's gone. He'll be right back, everybody. You know what? Why don't we take a quick break anyways? We've read a lot of questions here. We'll be right back. That's all right, everybody. We got this. I think he tried to fix it and make it worse. That's right.
Hello.
Hi. I heard you. No, but he's shaking his head. Something wasn't going right on his end. He didn't like it.
No, it just I could talk and then it mutes itself again. It didn't do it for like a couple of days and now it's doing it again. And I'm like, I'm not sure if it's it's working now. We'll see. But we're gonna finish the show and then I might have to just put this Goxer out to pasture. It didn't do it for a couple of days, and I'm not sure if it's a mechanical problem or a software problem. I use the mute button a lot, and I have for years now. So my guess is it's just worn out, and that's all there is to it.
That makes sense. Just press it too many times.
Yep. Okay. So I am going to just go for it. All right. It seems like it's working. You know what? Let me just test it. Okay, I think we're okay. All right, we can bring it back in, Mike, whenever you're ready.
All right, we're nope, false start. Something in my throat. Your child's looming. Oh, there she is. All right, she's just not good with mommy out.
Yeah, she doesn't like to be alone. I mean, there's a bed over there made for her, but she's just not having it.
All right, no worries. Poor Addie. All righty. And we are back. We got some more questions to go through here from Big Tony saying, "My dogs, AEW Fight Forever finally got its release date. If you guys are picking it up, what is the first character, opponent, and match type you're playing first? Thanks." Oh,
I'm going to beat the shit out of CM Punk. Oh, in the game? Oh,
Jesus. I've seen his MMA career. You might have a chance against him.
I'm not too worried about him.
No.
All right, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Violence doesn't solve all our problems except for the ones with CM Punk.
Yeah, I'm definitely picking it up. I'll play as Kenny Omega first, of course. Probably just against Hangman, Adam Page, another guy I like a lot. Those two had a great feud, and probably just normal match first. Nothing. I'm not going to jump into cage match or explosive barbed wire match or anything.
Yeah, I'll probably just play through the campaign, whatever they present to me. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I gotta have any sort of all-star match, because I want to see how they present AEW in that game.
Jeremy Biff says, "Hello, Jeff. I'm deadly afraid of dogs. When I was at Bacalar's house, Jeff had to calm me down about Marty, Grubb, and Mike building a RoboCop shine. I think he meant shrine, and writing a script to pitch a new RoboCop movie to MGM and Naughty. Now that Nintendo made the video game Nintendo video games." Man, this guy really liked Advanced Wars or Boot Camp. How close other game developers? How do other video game developers feel about Tears of the Kingdom? What should they learn from Tears of the Kingdom? I think game developers should make their games more toy-like. It's hard to say because, we had Breath of the Wild a while ago, and it seemed like people were gonna make their own Breath of the Wilds, but they didn't quite get the lesson. Like Immortal Phoenix Rising kind of was like doing some of that stuff, and then just filled it with some of the worst, overbearing, talky story segments possible. So like that wasn't really working. We were talking a bit earlier about from a production standpoint, but some of that is, well, sure, wouldn't it be great if every game could spend an extra year just polishing, right? But I don't know. What do you think developers should learn from Tears of the Kingdom?
They definitely should learn that they should have more faith in having systems and toy-like games. I think that a lot of developers will be like, man, we were kind of going down that path and we abandoned it because we didn't really know if that was what people cared about. I mean, Far Cry 2, again, is the one I think about there a lot. But for the most part, I think most developers are going to think, geez, it must be nice to be Nintendo and have all that time and money.
Yeah.
And honestly, and all that talent, because all the best game developers in Japan, there's one place they're going to want to work. It's at Nintendo. It is Disney-like in that, they attract the best people from their field, those creative fields. So, if we've seen some response from some developers, mostly indie developers, and they're just like, hey, we've messed around with physics stuff before, and when I play this game, it gives me a panic attack because I'm thinking about all the stuff that it would take to get this game to work. So I think it's mostly going to be intimidating for quite some time. And, even if you were to replicate this game exactly, it does help that it's Zelda. The sort of, we meet it halfway because it's Zelda, and we're engaged with it because we know that promises a certain something. And just like if there was like a little Big Planet version of this game, would we feel the same way? I mean, maybe, but it's going to be it's a more of an uphill climb, and so that's a big investment for something that isn't Zelda. So I think a lot of developers are going to be mostly scared. I think some will be inspired. And what specifically they should take away, I think you nailed it. It should be more games that are more toy-like.
Yeah, so toy-like that we just specifically bring back games like Toy Commander and Army Men Sergeants Heroes.
Yep, that's right.
Jamie says, any predictions or hopes for multi-platform games at Sony Showcase that will come to Switch too? This sounds like Jamie doing his best to ask a Nintendo themed question, even though he wants to talk about PlayStation. And as somebody who does that a lot myself on this show, I appreciate that. I thought maybe Mortal Kombat 1 would be there, and now that's not the case. I bet there might be some like Hogwarts Legacy DLC that'll eventually come to Switch, since that game was so huge for Sony, right?
Sure, yeah, probably. Yeah. I mean, that game was very much associated with them. They do say spellbinding. You think that's what they're talking about, like the DLC for that in their announcement post where they use the word spellbinding? That seems like such a weird word to pick. I feel like it has to mean something. Yeah, some indie games. The Metal Gear Solid 3 apparently is going to be on everything except for the Switch, though. So probably not. That's
right.
Yeah. Or then maybe it's.
We already got it on the 3DS, Jeff. We're fine.
That's true. Absolutely. I actually tried playing that the other day. It was fun.
Can't wait for you to play 2 hours of that and be like, I'm good. I played this already.
I actually haven't played Metal Gear Solid 3 already, so I need to play Metal Gear Solid 2 first. So maybe I can do that before Metal Gear Solid 3 comes out, and then I'll play that version. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I bet there will be some things, and nothing's coming to mind that's like, oh, that's an obvious pick for this.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not really sure. Lenny Cool Dick Denver says, hey, Mike, the OG Slamma Jamma Minotti, and Jeff, shoot Slamma Jamma 3 poops this month, Grubb. So let's say that a new Nintendo console comes out that's between a PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro, like some people have been speculating. How would this affect third-party output on the new systems? I think Capcom would bring over a lot of stuff, but EA and Ubisoft would still have more limited offerings on it, like they do on the Switch. Does that sound right to you, Jeff, between a PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro, or is that maybe underselling what we should expect here?
I mean, it's probably like a little bit short of a PS4 Pro probably is right. Maybe a little bit more than that. It's really hard to nail down. I think it's going to be a spectrum of games because, again, it's going to have probably a lot of NVIDIA magic that's going to be, some games are going to use that really well and some games won't. I think no matter what, it's not going to change the landscape, though, too much. It is going to be what it is, and it's going to be that weird Nintendo thing off to the side no matter what.
Do you think we're going to see more third-party support? Usually we do at first with these kind of things, and then people sort of see how it does, and maybe they pull back a bit.
I don't think EA suddenly changes their tune on Nintendo stuff. I think they're happy to keep doing PC and Xbox and PlayStation.
All right. Tears of the Turbo says, hey, Jeff, headline guest of BasedCon 2023 Grubb and Mike found a confidential list of Xbox's showcase in the back of an Arby's mid-naughty. Wow, thanks. Just like many other games, Nintendo will probably release an expansion pass for Tears of the Kingdom. What do you think we will see in it? Brand new location, new shrine, etc. Are you expecting an expansion pass for Tears of the Kingdom, Jeff?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think the question is, does it come out later this year or sometime next year? They haven't announced it yet. With Breath of the Wild, they had announced it before the game even came out.
Yeah, they announced a lot of these before the game even comes out. Like I know they did for Xenoblade Chronicles 3. That was the case.
I think they will have an underwater kingdom. That's like underwater because we have
like Gungan City.
Gungan City. Yes, we're gonna go meet Jar Jar and Boss Nass.
Boss Nass, my dad's favorite Star Wars character, Boss Nass. I still get a pop out of him each time I go up to him. Like, we saw no like of the Naboo. He laughs.
He's like, yes, let's go.
I guarantee you, the only thing he remembers about those prequel movies is probably Boss Nass.
Well, that's fine.
Big hit.
Jar Jar is the key to all this. Yeah,
Jar Jar is the key to all. Haas says, hey, yo, dogs, 30 games will be released on the European eShop on the 25th of May, including Case of the Golden Isle and Cassette Beasts. It seems like a lot. I assume the sheer amount is due to moving out of the way to the kingdom. But surely 13 days is not enough of a gap. I'm only 40 hours in. No chance to be playing anything else for another 2 weeks. Yeah, I wouldn't want to release my game, I guess, like within a month of the new Zelda game coming out. I guess eventually you kind of just have to do it, though, huh?
Yeah, it's like buying a house. You can't time the market. You at a certain point, you just got to. I mean, you could try to like look at the schedule, but what are you gonna? You're gonna release it next month when a bunch of games that are coming out are like there's like 4 major games coming out, and we're about to be at Summer Game Fest, and there's probably gonna get stuff announced for September, or you're gonna put it out in August in the dead of summer in a year where people are like traveling more than they have been in half a decade. It's just not a great business to be in, trying to figure out, we're going to predict exactly which day our game will do the best on. At a certain point, you just got to pick a day and go.
Gigantes 42 says, good evening, Mike. Don't get rid of the Roman numerals Minotti and Jeff Snowbike, Mike's gaming daddy Grubb. No question this week. Just want to wish you both a good Tuesday, and may all of your PlayStation Showcase dreams come true.
Do you have any dreams for PlayStation Showcase?
I've got lots of dreams, Jeff. I hope that maybe someday, that situation in the Middle East can get solved.
Okay.
That'd be nice. I hope, imagine if cancer wasn't a thing.
Okay.
That'd be pretty good. And imagine if they made a new Ridge Racer and it was announced tomorrow. That would be the best.
Now you're just being ridiculous.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, like there's tiers of it. I think like if I just straight up do expect, like obviously Spider-Man 2 and probably Wolverine, probably Last of Us, the factions or whatever the hell it's called. Is that it's called factions?
That's what it was called previously. I think there's still a chance it might get called something else.
So, but like, then like slightly like, then like the next above that or below that, I guess, in terms of like, is this actually happening? I want to see the Team Asobi thing. I want to see Astro. And then like, there's like the more ridiculous stuff like Ridge Racer, then even more ridiculous than that. It would be like Jumping Flash or one of these older PlayStation brands, or even if it was like, hey, like if you told me Naughty Dog was making Jack and Daxter or something new, that'd be excited. A Charter making some kind of a comeback, that could be fun too. There's plenty of things that would get me excited. The fun thing about this showcase is there's a good amount of stuff we can guess on, and then even that is so much it can't be all of that, and also can't possibly be everything that will be showed here. There's just a lot of we don't know what's going to happen.
But
here.
It could be anything. That's what this.
That's exciting
with the show. Yes, absolutely. My expectations are sky high. I think we're going to get a standalone Way of the Warrior game from Naughty Dog starring Shaky Jake. That's basically just like Mortal Kombat Sub-Zero Mythologies or Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero. It's gonna be that.
Yes. Mikey O'Leary is saying that on Kind of Funny. Druckmann was on there. Didn't know that. And apparently he went super out of his way to not say factions.
Yeah, right. I do not think they're gonna call it factions. Yeah.
But you mean, so wait, so he's saying it's not called factions or saying it's not gonna be there? Because it'd be so weird to me if it's not there.
Well, I think I don't know. I'd have to listen to it. I'm not going to speculate. I think it's going to be there. I think that game is like one of the next big games that Sony has coming out, but that's just kind of a guess.
Evo Janet says, hey, Jeff, how do you feel about Mike saying removing numbers from Final Fantasy will make it harder to distinguish between mainline and side games? Doesn't this help Dan's argument, not understanding how Mario works? Did Mike just give the game away? Oh, is this because of the Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island thing, that's just a bullshit marketing thing. And like, that's nothing.
Yes. The answer to Evo's question is yes. Mike gave up the game.
No, I didn't. Bench JC says, "Hey, dogs, I graduate high school this Friday." Benches, I didn't realize Bench, just a young innocent boy over there.
We young one.
With Tears of the Kingdoms releasing, it has me thinking about the Twilight and Wind Waker HD collection. Oh no. Do y'all think we get that next year? I really want to play those games again. I just don't know. We are so done speculating about those games. We lost the right to speculate about those ones quite a while ago. You look, for a while there, they were trying to do something new with Zelda every single year, and I think they kind of keep that up. But they still have some. They're still going to be able to release the Oracle games on NSO at some point here, and maybe like that's going to count for them for a while. I don't know. I just don't know when to expect it. They have to do it at some point. I don't even know if it's going to be before Switch 2 comes out, though.
Yeah, it's like, especially what if they're going to do the DLC next year? Then does this come? Yeah, I don't know.
Let's see here now. Next one is from Chaos Buckaroo, who says, "Howdy, fellas. With Mortal Kombat 1
I will
being
say,
announced,
sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but it was just
do it.
Metroid Prime remaster, excuse me. Like that was submitted for classification in Germany, like 2 years before it came out. Like that's how long they sit on these things. And so, I still think Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD are sitting at Nintendo, ready to go for the Switch, and Nintendo just isn't putting them out for whatever peculiar reason they have. But I think it's the exact same situation, and maybe it just sits around even longer than Metroid Prime ended up sitting around. Sorry, go ahead.
You're good. Chaos Buckaroo says, "Howdy, fellas. With Mortal Kombat 1 getting announced, what is a game/series you thought would be a long-running franchise only for it to fizzle out? Conversely, what is a long-running franchise you thought would end after 1 or 2 games?" Theories I thought would be, well, Ridge Racer. I thought Ridge Racer could maybe have gone on a little bit longer, but I don't know. Racing games obviously took a pivot there. Burnout, another one. Just racing games in general. Like, why the hell did Burnout fizzle out? We still get Need for Speed somehow. Need for Speed still kind of going strong. I don't know. Like, I know we talk about Need for Speed like, oh, there's these people who just really like it. It sure feels like that last one really did actually come out to a fizzle this time, right?
Yeah, but I can never tell with Need for Speed.
You can never tell.
Yeah, they've just, I don't know. I think wasn't there a lot of people who ended up liking that game, I thought, in the end. But again, I just can't. I
couldn't get into
it. This is not maybe in the spirit of this question, but I was like under the impression we would just get Uncharted forever. I thought we would just keep getting Uncharted forever, and everyone's like, no, they're done with that. I'm like, oh, they just are done with Uncharted, that really popular series? Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, they seem kind of done with it. Again, I think somebody's going to make an Uncharted. I mean, did you beat Uncharted 4? I forget.
I did, and I loved it. I really liked it. It's the one one of those that I really clicked with. I
loved it. But I mean, I mean, at this point, I don't know why I'm skirting around it, but like it has a pretty definitive ending. But again, there's so many things you could do around it. But I'm sure Naughty Dog is definitely done with it. But there's a lot of people you can give it to. But is Uncharted one of those series you could just give it to other people and they're going to be able to do what a Naughty Dog can? So maybe it's just this unique position, right? Where only Naughty Dog really can do an Uncharted. And if Naughty Dog doesn't want to do it, then oh well, right? So we'll see.
We'll see.
Octa says, "Dear Mike, if you had to show Dan one piece of Disney, anything to get him to open his mind that it's not just dumb cartoons for kids, what would it be? Consider it practice for it's a mainline Mario quest.
Song of the South.
For shits and giggles, here's Dan's Letterboxd rating for animated movies. I mean, if I could show him anything, I'd probably take him to Trader Sam's, which maybe we'll get to do. Or,
hopefully, we'll see.
Some of these other like cool bars and lounges and maybe some rides. But let's say movie. I think Coco. I think if Dan saw Coco and didn't like appreciate that and have an emotional experience, that he's just a heartless beast, and I don't believe that. He has about emotions. Dan. He has emotions. It's gonna work. Oh man, there is Dan's like whole letterbox section for animated films. So he has seen some. So he gave Soul 3 stars. Kind of generous. He's seen more anime films that he gives on. He gives up here. He's seen some. He gave Fantasia 1.5 stars for Fantasia from Dan. That's upsetting. I don't like that. Five Goes West was 3 stars from him. Yeah. Only 2.5 stars for Lego Movie. What a heart. What is this? 4 stars and a heart for the live action Lion King? Whoa. Maybe we see the problem. Maybe he just has bad taste.
Yeah, we should probably have a conversation with him about that. That is criminal.
Yeah, maybe he just actually
that Little Mermaid live action movie getting some okay reviews.
Yeah, I was getting really good reviews, and I just don't know if I believe it because like I saw it, I was like, okay, maybe it's good. Then I saw like a clip of like the under the sea segment. I'm just like, I just can't. This looks so weird to me. I just can't do this.
Yep.
Diego says, "Woof woof to my dogs." My question this week is how, Addison? How's the president standing?
Yep, I love that sign guy. How is the president standing?
I love that guy. I love those quests each time. And they actually kind of get more clever. Like
they
you
do.
have to do. It's like at first, like just put a block there, of course, and you gotta really. Oh yeah, I love that. I love that stuff.
Yep, me too.
Clink says, "Hello there, Jeff Hudson Grubb and Mike Addison Minotti." Wow, what's the next $70 Nintendo game? Whatever their holiday. What? Yeah, Pikmin 4 is probably just gonna be $70, right?
No. I think didn't they already give a price for Pikmin 4?
They probably already did give a price. Let's see.
I think it's gonna be. I think Metroid Prime 4 is $70 because they charge $60 for Metroid Dread, right?
Yeah, but then they charge $40 for Prime Remaster. It's just there's the consistencies all over the place.
Yeah, okay. I guess we'll
you're right.
see.
It is Pikmin 4 is just $60 already. So, okay. I think it's just whatever this holiday game is, right? I guess.
As long as it's sufficiently big enough. I think that they were happy to do $70 for Tears of the Kingdom because they knew we would pay it and they were right. And I bet it was very hard for them to be like, what was a bad PS5 game that cost $70? I'm like struggling. Or there's like a bunch. Forspoken $70, and that should be worth more money than Tears of the Kingdom. Like they were never going to be down with that. They are going to be okay with a lot of their other franchises continue to be 60 until the next Switch successor, and then everything will be 70 for the most part.
One Up versus CPU. Hey, One Up versus CPU. Hey, buddy. There you are. Are you listening, or you just here? Well, if you hear this part, we need a Super Metroid overlay for Game Mess Decides. Thank you, One Up versus CPU.
I'll pay you.
And he writes, "Do you think we'll get a new 2D Zelda while the next 3D Zelda's in development for the next 5+ years?" I don't. They would have to get a partner, and who's the partner anymore, right? Like maybe you can have what's that, Grizo or whatever, who did Link's Awakening. Do you just tell them, hey, make your own Zelda game? But even whenever they did that, they had like the Zelda like top guys still working on that stuff, and maybe those people are just going to be busy working on the next Zelda game that's going to sell 35 million copies instead of helping with some cute 2D side project over there. So I don't know what the future is for 2D Zelda. I would actually not be shocked if there just isn't any more of those. Like maybe some remakes of some of that stuff, and maybe not even that.
I think Grezzo will probably make a follow-up to Link's Awakening that is a new Zelda. You're right that there's some challenges there, but all those third-party teams that end up working on first-party games at Nintendo, they work directly with publishers at EAD. Is that what it is now? Or EPD. So that's just a normal part of doing business with Nintendo. I'm sure they would figure out someone that can oversee those things. And I think that's a good idea because I think that's the place for traditional Zelda to live now is those top-down games and kind of build on what they did with Link's Awakening.
You think they'll try to like get a Switch port of Link Between Worlds at some point?
I fucking hope so. Man, I would love that. That would be. I hope so. I really don't know, but I hope so.
JD Camp says, "Do you set up a timeout corner for Dan and Mike during the summer Game Fest night show? You'll need it." Oh, I'll be a good boy.
Yeah, I got. There's plenty of plans to punish these kids if they got out of hand.
Wow. Don't forget, I still have my wish, Jeff, for Blake Club. By the way, you better be nice.
You're a good person, and I respect your manliness and how cool you are.
Thank you. I also like those things about myself. Hey, Jeff, says the Zelda Wolf. Hey, Jeff, I was right about the Game of Thrones inspiration. Suck it, Grubb. And
that's right, I was.
Game of Thrones, more like Lame of Thrones.
I never said Game of Thrones is good.
No, well, yeah, I know I was one of those people, Jeff, and I just want to say I was definitely wrong, and I was definitely just lashing out because I don't like Game of Thrones.
Right. Yes.
All that.
And
Okay.
I think everyone else is just lashing out because they're weirdos about Japanese games, and the idea of anything from anywhere else influencing their their precious little Japanese games, it sends them into a hissy fit. I'm like, oh my, you guys got to just chill out.
Hey, I was also the one saying that it was like God of War, and people got mad at me. And then I think, like, literally in this last media tour, he's already even said this stuff before, but he very specifically again was like, yes, we're inspired by Game of Thrones and God of War. So
That's incredible that he just said it. It's like, it wasn't even like, oh yeah, like
subtext.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't like, oh yeah, we have some fans on the team. Somebody said before. He's like, we forced people to watch Game of Thrones, and we
made them do it,
and everything else was God of War. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
Okay, Zelda Wolf says, I will no longer make fun of you all for having trouble starting the podcast each week, as I started a podcast with some Game S members, and it's a lot harder than it looks. You guys have any tips on getting better at podcasting, especially when it comes to transitioning between topics? I mean, it's like everything else. You just keep doing it for a while. I made a lot of really bad podcasts. Some would say I still make bad podcasts. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I have I don't know if I could just tell you 5 magic words here to give you make anything better for you. Maybe Jeff more so on the production side of things.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Just do the stuff that it feels like fun to you, because people can notice that, and then that feels like they want to be a part of that fun. And so that's the stuff that works. Don't force things because you think that's what a podcast is. Just do what you think is fun.
You know what transition always works? Moving on, and then you move on.
Yep, it's like
every time.
Yeah, you don't feel like you got to sound like TV or sound like radio or sound like the best podcast, the best podcast out there. Just move on and say that you're moving on. It's totally fine.
Always Be Corgi says, hey, Mike, you have the game mess overlay up Minotti. And Jeff, no, don't change it because Grubb. What are you two looking forward to at Summer Games Fest? And what will you wear to the events? Will you rock a pink Bowser tank top in LA? I don't know. I'll never forget the one time I think very early on, I wore shorts to E3. And some people were like, I can't, are you sure you should wear shorts to E3? I was like, what do you think we're at? So,
we're in Los Angeles. And
it sucks.
It's a gaming convention.
Hot.
Yeah. So
I don't know, but because of that, I always feel pressure to wear jeans. I always wear jeans and some shitty graphic tee, and somehow that's okay. But if I dare to wear shorts, then I'm, some unprofessional slob. But yeah, that's it. I'll do that. Jeff will probably wear whatever he wants, and people will find it charming.
That's right. I'm the chosen one, the chosen son.
Yeah. Dr. Suss says, hey, buttheads, does announcing games years ahead of release to help recruit devs work? Seems like it's much better to keep the game close to the chest until it's almost done, and the first release date is 99% guaranteed. Yeah, so I think we said maybe Respawn was doing that back when they talked about their Star Wars game very early, and some other people did. Like Perfect Dark announced really early, some stuff like that. Do you think this is the case, Jeff?
Yeah, a lot of developers have been doing this a lot, and it can't hurt. I think it's how most of these developers are looking at it, where it's like, hey, we got to do everything we can to attract talent because there's a crunch on supply of talent. There's a lot of games being made and a lot of need for like senior devs, and senior devs they're hard to come by. So yeah, you're gonna have to do whatever it takes. And I think announcing your game early and saying, hey, we're working on that. If you want to come help us, well, here are our job postings. I bet that is effective to a certain extent.
Seraphis Kane says, quick question for Jeff. What's the most accessible / fun NHL game for someone who's not necessarily super into hockey? Bonus points if it's on Nintendo system to keep it relevant to the podcast.
There's not a lot of great hockey options on Switch. I think that tape-to-tape will come to Switch eventually.
Oh, shit, I got a message from One Up versus CPU. Oh, good.
Okay, good. I'm happy for you. I would probably just one of the past NHL games the last couple of years had a NHL Rewind, and that might actually be a standalone thing now. I know it's definitely on Xbox. It's probably on consoles. I don't think it's on PC, but it's basically just NHL 94, but with a more modern roster, and that's pretty cool. That is a fun thing to play, so I enjoy that.
Is it? I always forget. It's NHL 94 and NHL 95 for Genesis. Which one of those is the one people really like?
94 is the one.
I think. Okay.
95 and 96 had a lot of bugs.
Oh shit! not bugs. Next one here is from DMC. Depressed Me Crying. It says, hello, Mike. Wants the Microsoft acquisition saga to just be over Minotti? And Jeff secretly hopes it drags on and on so he can continue to watch Jim Ryan publicly self-flagellate. Grubb. Flagellate? Did I get that right the first time?
Flagellate, yeah.
Flagellate. What's been the most hurtful game cancellation for you personally? It was forever ago, but I took Sonic Extreme pretty hard. That was a rough time for me. It's because, like, you know, it's like, oh, Mario 64 is coming out, and I was a Sonic guy. I was like, well, wait till we get the Sonic game. Then you just find out. I didn't even know back then that you could cancel games. I wasn't really aware of that. So I was like, well, you're not allowed to do that. You told me I could play that. What? No. So that one always hurt me a lot. There's some that, like, people get too upset about, like, Scalebound. Like, some people, like, mourn Scalebound. Like, you don't know if that game was going to be any good. Who knows what was going to happen with Scale? Like, it was a cool idea. It was a cool concept. It's a good publisher. Or developer, but still, a lot of things can go wrong.
I really wanted Project Hammer for the Wii or Wii U or whatever it was. Yeah, from Miyamoto. It's like, oh, they yeah. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say we should play that other one, Disaster. That actually did come out, but only in Europe. We should play that sometime.
Yeah, we should definitely do that. That'd be fun. I don't know. That Taxi Driver video game that they were gonna make that was supposed to be a sequel to the movie. Yeah, give me that. That sounds insane.
Yeah, Mega Man Legend 3 hurts just because of the Mega Man-ness of it also, for sure.
Oh, Star Wars 1313. There we go.
Yeah, it's a classic one.
Yep.
Yeah, 1313. I bet if I think there's even some better ones I could think about here.
Silent Hills? Silent Hills.
Oh, right, because the PT, if PT was a full game kind of a thing, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, StarCraft Ghost was another just like really big one from my earlier days that I think about a lot. Like, oh, you could just you're gonna cancel that. You talked about that all the time. But
Justin Chet says Deep Down for PS4. That hasn't been canceled yet. That's still happening, I bet.
Yeah, it's happening, baby. Let's go.
Any day now.
All right. Next up from G-Man Sir says, hey, Jeff is currently wearing a matching pink thong Grubb, and Mike wants to steal that thong, Miss Naughty. Why do people think Mike is short? He stands at a large 5'4". Wow. You know what I think is more so than anything, Jeff, is the way I sit. I have my my armrest up kind of high, so my shoulders kind of scrunch up. So it really looks like I have no neck. I think if I relax like this, it's a little bit better.
You ever do that yoga nidra where they talk through relaxing every part of your body part? They're like, relax your eyebrows and your eyes. It's like, wait, what? I can do that? And then by the time I'm done, I do feel like about 2 inches taller because I've completely decompressed. So yeah, maybe I should try that more.
I feel taller right now, though. Maybe I should just. I mean, these things are adjustable. I can't just lower them. But I like having my armrest up here for when I'm typing, which I'm usually doing. So.
Sure.
Here we are. Inufe says, what is Intelligent Systems working on right now? Fire Emblem Engage seemed to be finished up over a year ago, and it's been almost 3 years since the last Paper Mario. Man, are they really you think they're really going to make another Paper Mario? Like who really cares?
Alpha Dream's still no, Alpha Dream's the one that was making Mario and Luigi.
They're gone.
Yeah, who is it? Camelot that does Paper Mario?
Oh, it's Intelligent System. That's what he's saying.
Oh, he said it's Intelligent Systems. My bad. Okay.
He's like, what are they working on now? Because it's been 3 years since the last Paper Mario.
That's right. It is Intelligent Systems. I think they probably do make another Paper Mario, but you're right. Every time they've done it since, they just make it kind of. Listen, that last one was okay, except the entire battle system.
Whoops.
Yeah, whoops. I don't know. I hope they do it and make a good one again. There's that rumor of a 1,000-Year Door remake remaster. Just do that.
That'd be cool. Although usually it's not Intelligent Systems making the remake. Like they didn't make that remake of Advanced Wars, right? So
right.
Bud Sack says the Nintendo execs listens to your podcast and are convinced you know the Nintendo customer base better than themselves. Reach out and ask for your help in deciding one Nintendo 64 game to remake. What game do you remake and why? Well, now you're making me put on. Look, if I'm making a business decision for Nintendo, I think I'm going to tell them to remake Ocarina of Time. It's a boring answer there, but I think.
What's the fun answer?
Blast Core.
Yeah, Blast Core is fun.
Have the rights to that. I don't know. Yeah, what's the more fun answer here? Let's say not Rare, because they don't own any of that Rare jazz, which is so many of the Nintendo 64 games. that most people actually care about, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe nothing. It's a bad system. No.
Oh my god.
I mean, well, like what am I gonna say? Remake Excite Bike 64 or Wave Race? Make a new Wave Race. Don't remake Wave Race 64.
Yeah, for sure. You're right about that. You go talk to Lucas Arts and you do a full Blue Point style remake of Star Wars Shadows of the Empire.
That is actually kind of the answer. If like you remade Shadows of the Empire, that'd be freaking cool.
Yes, that would rule from the ground up remake of that. Let's go.
And then Turbo Sean says, "Young Impa, discuss." And here's a picture of Young Impa.
Oh, yeah, I don't need to look it up. I got it committed to memory.
Yeah, it basically looks like Pura, but without the really intense eyeshadow. I'm not me, like sometimes like heavy makeup. So I think I like Young Impa even more than Pura. Since we're judging people based off their appearances, Jeff.
Tell me more about how people should have their bodies look. Yeah.
Look at that. Sean was ready, or Sean, sorry. Then Christian was ready to go with that. Look at that. It's a PNG too. There she is.
Yep.
Yeah. That's pretty good. Man, she looks a lot like freaking what's her face? Who's the other girl? The other Sheikah, the one that had a crush on Lincoln Breath of the Wild. What's her name again?
Oh, right. I really liked her. I think I've met her once in this game.
Yeah, me too. She's
I can't remember. Paya, yeah. Paya Papaya.
I liked that character, except for her stupid face tattoo. I don't know what I am with, like, I don't like people being extra with their faces. I guess everyone should have a nice simple face like me. That's it for the podcast producers. Jeff, did you want to take a break? You just want to just get into some more super chats?
Yeah, let's get into these super chats. Let's see here. I think there's just a handful of more. Nick S says, Jeff, I read a review you wrote for a surround sound system in 2021. Your recommendation convinced me to get it. I couldn't be happier. Thank you. I wonder which one you got. Was it the this is the thingamabob from a thingy? I'm glad you liked it. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Most of the ones I ended up reviewing were actually pretty good because I was kind of selecting them based on that.
I think the most expensive thing I've ever been sent to review that I got to keep was a surround sound system.
Someone sent me like, hey, you want to review an outdoor TV? And at first I was like, man, no, definitely not. But I'm like, that could be, we could like do like an outdoor stream, like a summer camp stream where we play a game at night, and that could be fun if I had that TV. So I'm like, started thinking about maybe I could do something with that. So, and then they never got back to me, so probably not going to happen.
I like it.
Dean Bowling sent over a $2 super chat and retracted the message. If Dean Bowling sent it somewhere else, and everybody highlight that for me. But thank you, Dean. L. Grug, Jeff seems like the type of, so he says, Jeff seems like the type of person who yells "and one" when he goes to Poop City. Of course. Will Kingdom Hearts 4 be at the showcase, or does God actually exist? I think God exists.
Well, both things could maybe be true. I've been to your wedding. You definitely don't think God exists.
I prefer that over Kingdom Hearts 4.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird because it's like, yeah, sure, it's been a bit since they announced it. Like, why not? But I'm also just not really expecting it. I don't have much of a good reason aside from I can't feel it in the wind. I mean, like obviously we have to talk about Final Fantasy 16 still, and we still have to talk about, maybe on top of that, Final Fantasy 7 reunion. I always forget what it's called. So, like, how much time are we really devoting to just Square Enix here? Maybe a lot. They do make a lot of big exclusives for Sony, sure, but I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if it was. I'm expecting it to not, but it's not the biggest surprise in the world if it's there, I guess.
Shigeru Miyamoto writes in to say, Aonuma got me life-size cutouts of Pura and Impa for my B-Day. They're next to my cool Chris cutout. God, he's so cool.
Yeah.
Listen, Shiggy, it sounds like you're living your best life. I'm very happy for you.
You ever see a character get such a glow from just getting a haircut before, by the way, though? Zelda, like, I'm telling you, short hair, that's the way to go.
I'm glad you like short hair. I
do like short hair.
I prefer long hair.
Better,
so.
But I thought about doing one of those tweets where it's like, oh, girls with short hair are disgusting, blah, blah, blah. Send me pictures of you if you have short hair, kind of a thing. But, I didn't want to be a creep.
I was going to do that, but the girls with big Bowser asses.
Girls with big Bowser
No,
asses.
none of them have ever looked good, and I would hate it if you quote retweeted this with...
Someone told me Kim Kardashian got rid of her butt. I didn't realize she had a fake butt and that you can then get rid of it later.
That's terrible news.
Terrible. I thought we had a whole decade of people being obsessed with butts because of that. You could just get rid of it.
Yeah, it seems like a bad business decision, but all right.
That's what's like. I'm playing 2000s games again, Obviously, because like I'm obsessed with those consoles. Like, and this is transitioning. Actually, here they were asking about transitions. Here's how you do it. I've been playing Baldur's Gate: Dark Alliance for the GameCube, and I just forgot. Like, man, this is so pre-ass era. It's just all tits all the time. That's it.
Oh man, that was a dark time.
Just like I even started the game. I was like, how long do you think it'll be before we see a female character that doesn't have giant cleavage? I think it took 5 hours. And even then,
That's incredible.
Like, it was still a gigantic breast, but we just like couldn't see that much skin. Yeah, the bartender in that game. Woof. Yeah, so it's just simpler times. The era of BMX triple.
Yeah,
X.
right. Yeah, it was just sticks with boobs. Absolutely.
Yeah, that was basically it. Every character was Laura Croft.
Mm-hmm.
Then asses happened, and now we're in.
So
we're in
good
the ass
game,
age.
huh?
But are we coming out of the ass age? Is my question. And what's next?
Listen, I hope not. I want to spend my entire life in the ass age.
Yeah, is it thigh time?
But,
Thigh time.
I'm down for thigh time, but I think that goes hand in hand with the ass age.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But
Climate scientists also are predicting we're going to have 1,000 years of an ass age here pretty soon. So.
1,000 years of ass age. Nah, it's thigh time. Your time is up. Thy time is now.
Well, listen, the thighs save lives, so I'm definitely give it to me. Yeah.
Oh, Street Fighter 6 comes out. It's going to be so thigh time all over the place. Hey, Jeff, I'm actually kind of really liking Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
Alliance
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. Seems like you like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I never really played that much of these games. I think, and you
people
had
really
one
like this one. Yeah.
You had one on Demo Derby, and I think that's actually most I ever played of it was on a demo disc at some point. And like kind of going back to what I talked before, but maybe keeping things simple. I just really like the simplicity of this. Like, it's a Diablo clone, almost like a Diablo 1 clone, though. You have 3 classes. It's almost like one big dungeon. There's a couple different act breaks. I think you have like this one small hub area. It's this inn. There's like, basically you can accept side quests there. You can talk to the merchant. You can buy stuff. There's the progression system is simple. You level up every once in a while, and you can like put a point into a spell or your health, or you get better equipment. It's just this really like pleasant Diablo-like hack and slash game, which is pretty simple fantasy trappings. Bizarrely good voice cast, like maybe some of the best voice acting of that era. Like, you'll recognize everybody from stuff like Jennifer Hale is there, and like Tony J, Cam Clark, like all of those people are there, and they're doing a really good job. And it's like, oh yeah, it's just a lot of fun. And apparently the GameCube version isn't even the ideal way to play it. Like, the developers like made the Xbox and PlayStation 2 versions, and somebody else ported the GameCube version, so its performance is supposedly not as good. I didn't really notice that myself. It seemed to be running just fine for me. The game's also not too long ago has been ported to everything. It's got like a remaster treatment. It's one of those sort of basic up-res remaster jobs, I think, and some people think maybe it cleans it up a little bit too much. But yeah, this has been kind of surprising just how much I've been into this simple ass overhead action RPG.
Assless, please. It's all boobs.
Excuse me,
this is the one that they recently did a sequel to, right? That everyone was really mad about.
Right. So there was Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, and then there was a Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 2 not too long after that came out to Xbox, PlayStation 2, not GameCube. But then they made a new one. It was just called Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance, and apparently it sucks.
That's right, and people are very disappointed because a lot of people loved Dark Alliance.
Right. And I bet they probably made it too complicated and stupid. I don't know, because I never played it. I don't know too much about it, except that I think it featured a band of characters that are relatively famous in like those books and stuff. I don't know. I'm not up on my Forgotten Realms too much.
Where is it like on the spectrum of like Diablo to Gauntlet? Like, is it kind of right between, or does it mostly lean towards Diablo, but kind of because it does sound pretty arcadey, but not fully arcadey.
That's what I was saying while I was even playing it. Like, man, this really is just like right in the middle of like Diablo and Gauntlet Dark Legacy.
That sounds great to me. That sounds fantastic.
And there is at least 2-player co-op, so that would be fun to check out sometime. It's like there's 3 character classes, and it's just guy with warrior, archer, mage.
Fun. Yeah, we could make a thing of that. That'd be fun.
And I'm a mage, and I'm going around shooting people with my magic. But even still, like even though you basically like there's a bunch of spells I could get, but it's designed in a way where I should probably only ever have 2 or 3. Like, compared to like a Diablo now, where you're gonna have like 16 different abilities, and you're trying to figure out your rotation and your skills, and you level up, but you also have a Paragon leveling system. And again, it's this thing like, man, is this stuff be getting too much? Probably not. They're probably getting away with it, but there is also something really satisfying about just how simple this is and how well it all works.
Yep. That sounds appealing. I'm like, I wish I wouldn't have missed it. I probably read the reviews and how it was like, oh, it's a little bit worse on GameCube, and being like, that's the what I had. I was like, oh, I'll just skip it, and
Maybe.
I should have played it. I bet it was. I bet it's just fine on GameCube.
Well, and then like the same developer of this one made some like basically the same kind of game on PlayStation 2, but it was EverQuest themed, Champions of Norath, and I think maybe another one. And that's supposed to be good too. I'm like, I kind of want to play all of these.
I remember people really liking Champions of Norath.
Yeah.
The non-Tears of the Kingdom game that I played this week is Brain Age. I talked about it on the Bombcast.
Yeah.
It was fun to go back to that. I'm like, I'm just looking for something kind of Sudoku-like, crossword-like, but maybe something I could do in a couple of minutes. Like, for example, could I train my brain and reduce its age in minutes a day? Turns out there's a game called Brain Age, Train Your Brain in Minutes a Day, that I already have. So I went and played some of that, and it definitely was, it felt like it was working. I think it's probably me convincing myself, but whatever. I'm like, I'm ready to believe. And I don't know. It was nice. It was kind of cool to kind of get back in the flow of those things. And I did the training. It's like, your brain is like 50 years old. I'm like, oh no, oh God. And I remember the first time I did it, it was like,
that's only 10 years older than your actual
exactly.
age.
So I'm like, all right, let's go ahead and get some work in there and see if I can get it. A big part of it was like, I didn't have the stylus, so I was kind of writing with the side of my finger a little bit, and that's not great on the DS. So I found my stylus, and I'll get in there tonight and do a little bit more. And I also played concentration training through the 3DS game that I never, ever even considered getting. So I'm like, that sounds like bullshit. But that was even more effective, it felt like, because that's exactly what I'm trying to work on. I'm trying to improve. And I have no idea if it will have any long-term benefits, but I think it has like short-term, like, oh, for the next day or two, maybe you'll feel more sharp. I'm like, well, I'll just play it every day then. Like just like people do the crossword every day, and there's benefits to that. I'm kind of hoping for something similar there. But the good news is I also just think those things are fun. It's fun to do 100 simple math questions really fast and be like, oh yeah, I found myself, like, I used to be able to calculate multiplication. Like, lost the mic. Yep, in my head, like, no problem. And more recently, it's like, oh, I just have not been practicing that muscle, and I've lost it a little bit.
We're fucking video game journalists turned more on-screen personalities. What do we do math?
Exactly. Like, I definitely have felt like, oh yeah, I'm just the dumb talking guy now, and so it's like I want to I want to challenge my brain a little bit. So it's been nice. It's been cool to go back.
Christian's right. I kind of wanted to say something, but your brain is looking younger, dude.
Thank you.
It all episode. Yeah.
Listen, I didn't want to bring it up. I don't want to but I'm glad people have noticed for sure.
Very nice. So yes, Tears of the Kingdom. Let's talk a little bit more about that, because let's talk about those temples. So if you don't want to hear about this, then you can dip out now. But this is basically what this game is doing instead of divine beasts, and I like them quite a bit more than divine beasts. Jeff, it's not. Is this like a full blown Zelda dungeon thing?
It's between the divine beasts and a dungeon.
And I think that's smart. I think you don't actually just really do a straight up Zelda dungeon. For one thing, those are long in a way that I don't think you ever want to be doing any one thing in these style of Zelda games for that long. I think it is fun that you do these things, and maybe it's this 20-minute experience, and then you make that story beat happen. You get to go back out there and do whatever else you want to do next. But I do like that they seem to be structured, at least the two I've done, like, hey, there's 5 of these things in this area. You need to get there, figure it out. And especially like the Goron one, there's like clearly a way the game wants you to do it with like minecarts and stuff.
Yep.
But you still have like your full tool set, and you still get to do that great Breath of the Wild / Tears of the Kingdom thing where it's like, you're encouraged to cheat, and it's fun to cheat. Like, I'm actually just going to use Ascend and climb around and maybe even build stuff and just be a total shit about this. And that's how I'm going to go about this instead. Yep,
that's exactly what I did. And it was like fun to get to where the game wanted me to go multiple times and then look backwards and go, oh, that's what it wanted me to do. And I just like, well, not going to do that. And then once I figure out what I was supposed to, like the next one, I'm like, okay, I'll actually do it how they want me to. But the truth is that you're right. They don't want you to do anything. They've designed something, and but it exists within the realm of Tears of the Kingdom, which means they're not going to take your powers away. They're not going to put up bullshit barriers to stop you from doing the stuff that they've given you this entire time.
Imagine if they were like, oh, these walls are too slippery. You can't climb on stuff in there, right? They could have done that.
Yep.
But they didn't, and it's just so much more fun for that.
There is areas where that happens inside the shrines. The shrines have that's where that stuff happens. So would be weird, like, oh, and also the temples are that way. I'm like, no, the temples are out in the world. They're just going to be these normal things, these structures that Goron's built or whatever. And so it wouldn't make sense for like, why would they care about walls being climbable or not? So yeah, it feels true to the spirit of the game. And then if you want those weird, like, oh, we're taking your flood away Mario levels, well, those are the shrines. It continues to get better and better. The thing of there being so much to do continues to be true. I have not touched really the newspaper quest since like last week, and I'm like, I keep thinking about, man, I can't wait to get back there. I love all the characters involved with that. The editor, my fellow reporter, Birdman guy, Penn, he's fantastic. Yep.
Yeah, Rebecca Stone's right. Penn is greater than Cass. I'll just say it. Sorry.
I like Cass
Penn's
a lot,
great.
but Penn is fantastic.
And Penn's my boy.
But it's like, I've also been like, there's so much to do here, but also I kind of want to just get to a basic level where I have all of the abilities you get from completing the temples, because it seems like those are going to just continue to add to things. And what I was very happy with is like, you can have both of those abilities out at the same time. And that was, I was not expecting that. I thought I was going to have to choose one or the other at any one time. And again, it was like, no, we'll just have these things run alongside you simultaneously. I'm like, oh, that is really awesome.
Do you like that system more of kind of having these like companions, and you can kind of call on them for their abilities, and they have a little bit of a cooldown, as opposed to Breath of the Wild, where it was just this one long cooldown, and each one had a button associated with it?
Yeah, I definitely think this is very cool. It's cool to have those companion characters out there next to you all the time, and they're attacking, and then they have their special ability, and their special abilities have like multiple uses, whether you're in combat, just walking around the world, or if you're using a vehicle. And it's like, oh yeah, all the applications of this stuff continues to be really well thought out, really well done, and fun in every instance. I really dig that. But it's like, I still am kind of like, okay, every shrine I see I'm going to do, because I want to have as much life as possible, because the game is hard. I got most of the way through, before I did the Goron Temple, I got most of the way through the Zora one. And I had to brute force it and sort of sneak around, because every enemy was one-shotting me every time, even with like almost 10 hearts. Like, it's like, they are brutal.
Have you upgraded your armor much from the Great Fairies yet?
So
that seems really important.
Right, exactly. So I've just upgraded one, because I did the first thing with her, and I'm like, this is what I need to be doing. I need to go every shrine, get as much life, as much stamina as possible. I need to be talking to the Great Fairies and improving my armor, and then I also kind of want to just be finding these temples and finding ways to get to them, and then from there I will start doing all the side quests once I have like this basic level of I am survivable in a lot of different circumstances. Because okay, the Zora Temple, way too hard. I'm not even gonna follow this thing up here.
I think the game kind of almost, at least the way they talk about him in the beginning, it almost intends for maybe that one last.
Yes, and so I'm like, okay, well, I'll go down to the southwest and check out over there. It's like, oh nope, that's also very dangerous, and maybe I just was in a bad area. But yeah, the game is there's a lot of brutal areas. So I'm like, I'm gonna kind of go where the game feels a little bit more welcoming and do the stuff that is right there in front of me to improve Link's ability to survive. And then there continues to be all this fun stuff that's distracting me and is just a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I'm still just kind of discovering things, kind of small, like this little quest. Like, I found a message in the bottle, and I kind of like followed this breadcrumb trail to a guy who was stuck in a cave, and that was fun. Then big things, like I was just kind of wandering around like an asshole and discovered this huge thing, like that seems really important to the story, and I kind of won't give that away, but basically I just used a sense somewhere that made it look like I should, and ended up somewhere very important. I was like, oh no, okay, so that's cool.
Very cool.
Good. Yeah, but I think the most improved thing to me, and it's something I really wondered, are these boss battles, especially at the end of these temples. I think they've been really fun.
I agree.
The Fire Temple one was really cool, but the Wind Temple was awesome. That was like one of my favorites.
It was very kinetic. There's a lot going on, and
it was a spectacle.
Right, you feel cool.
Spectacle.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I loved the Fire Temple boss, the throwback to like where it's coming from, and then the ways that you interact with it, very cool. Yeah, but it's like obviously the Wind Temple one was special, and I expect the Wind Temple boss to be the highlight. But if all of them are as good as the Fire Temple, if the rest are as good as the Fire Temple one, I'll be happy.
All right, yeah, exactly. So yeah, just having a really good time. Just absolutely excited to keep playing it, keep playing a lot more of it. There's going to be plenty of that going on here, even with other things happening, like the Street Fighter 6 beta to distract us. But yeah, it's a pretty crazy year, Jeff.
Yep. It feels like it's actually going to live up to all the hype this year.
It did.
Yeah. So far, it has.
I mean, this game did. The fact that Tears of the Kingdom did.
I mean, everything except for Redfall has, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think Forspoken kind of landed where people thought it would, so that gets a bit of a
Forspoken
pass.
this year.
That was this year.
Holy moly!
Like that feels like a game that definitely came out before Hi-Fi Rush. It did not.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. All right. So Forspoken landed. I guess we'll say where we expected, but Redfall definitely a disappointment, but everything else,
right? Like all the games that are having disappointments are ones you weren't maybe expecting too much from. Speaking of which, I wonder when that Gollum embargo's dropping. I have not. That wasn't me being coy. I have not played Gollum, but you see that like actually gameplay leaked of that. Like,
I haven't.
Did. I was kind of skimming through that a little bit.
Oh, how did it look?
I only looked at it a little bit. Weird. So we'll see. We'll see what critics have to say. Maybe it'll be a surprise. All right, Jeff. I think we've been good boys. Pikmin in 4 months. Thank you, Connell Hoof. Yeah. We've been good boys. We did all the super chats. We've done all the questions. We can start wrapping this baby up, I believe. Want to play some music for me?
Yeah, I'm playing it. I'm turning it up right now for everybody.
All right. Thank you all for listening to Last of the Nintendogs. Jeff and I will be back on Thursday for Game Exercise. We'll figure out what we're going to do then. We'll have fun. We're doing something in place of a normal Bike Club tomorrow because...
No, Thursday.
No, Thursday. On Thursday, I mean, because Dan's going to be busy. Tomorrow, we are doing Connectivity Compadres, though, as normal.
Yes, Four Swords Fiesta's happening, and then John Bomb will go into the PlayStation Talkover. So just join us for Four Sword Fiesta. It's been a ton of fun, and the pressure's going to be on to actually complete a level because we have a time limit. I got to do the PlayStation stuff, so it'll be probably pretty stressful. Dan has promised to behave, which we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Yep.
Well, he did behave. Surprised you were worse than him on the last episode.
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, you were terrible. You were an absolute.
I'm very good. Bye, everybody.
Person.
Vote for me for most helpful.
Yeah, well, I can't hear the music, but you have to tell me when it starts ramping up.
But it's ramped up now.
What? We're done now?
Yeah. Say goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
The sun's still going on.
Till I see evidence that the world is round, I'm not believing a damn thing.